In a similar way to a certain illusionist, Charlton haven't been too exciting in the box this season. But just upriver, they now have a magician of their own to conjure up some goalmouth action. Though Powell de Canio will have to do it from the bench today. Illness denies him a starting place. But the headline act is ready and can never be ignored. Lots of tricks and plenty of quality. That's why Michael Owen is worshipped by this lot, who are happy again after a worrying start to the season. Charlton supporters may have David Blaine performing his antics in their own backyard, but they'll tell you that staying in the Premiership for 900 days, as they so far have, beats 44 days in a box hands down. Mind you, they need to improve their form here at the Valley, and fast, or their status as a top-flight club will come under scrutiny. They've lost 6 and won only 1 of 8 here, stretching back to last season, and with Arsenal visiting next, these are testing times for Alan Kirbishley's side. George, a slow start, or are they genuine strugglers this season?
I think it is a slow start, Marcus, and with the next 5 fixtures coming up, 3 away from home and 2 local derbies, they've got to start picking up points very, very quickly. I still believe, after the magnificent job he's done down there over the years, Alan Kirbishley's side is going to be one of about 6 teams this season fighting relegation.
Of course, Liverpool made a slow start as well. They appear to be picking up speed now, don't they?
Yes, I mean, you know, they've got enough talent there. It was only a matter of time. But what would worry me there really is they've got to start getting a lot more points at home. Yeah, they're very, very sound defensively. Away from home, I can see them picking up points like they've already started this season. And I think it's going to be a long haul to get into that top 3 or 4 again this season. But there's no question they'll be up there in the top 6.
That has to be the minimum of their aims. Well, how times have changed at the Valley since those dark days of the late 80s and early 90s. No football there for 7 years. The ground left to rot. Look at those pictures and look at the comparison now. Capacity of 27,000 and a very impressive sight. And this is the 11 the majority will be cheering on today. 2 changes from the dramatic penalty shootout win over Luton in the Carling Cup, with Chris Perry and Sean Bartlett coming in for Jonathan Fortune and Powell de Canio, who are both on the bench. 3 changes from the Liverpool side that beat Leicester in the Premiership last weekend. Steve Finnan, Steven Gerrard and El Hadj Diouf returning in place of Salif Diao, Anthony Tallec and Danny Murphy, who are substitutes. Of course, Liverpool start every season with high expectations, but they were a little slow off the blocks this time around. It was a very high-profile start for Gerrard Houlier's team, an opening weekend encounter with Roman Abramovich's cast of all-stars, and it didn't go according to plan.
Lampard, Hasselbank, they get the shot away, it's his angle, it's his goal! Chelsea lead again!
Goalless draws at Aston Villa, and then at home to Spurs did little to improve Houlier's humour ahead of the Merseyside derby at Goodison. But that proved to be a unifying moment for the team.
Owen, he'll get there first. He will score. And it's put in by Harry Kewell.
They haven't looked back since then, with 5 goals and maximum points against Blackburn and Leicester, propelling them up the table. At a cost, though. Long-term injuries to Milan Barros and Jamie Carragher taking some of the gloss off their improved form. But Houllier has strength in depth, and he knows what he's looking for. And he'll be pleased to see his team move up to 4th with a win today, providing Manchester City don't beat Spurs in the Super Sunday game. Blackburn play Fulham at Ewood Park this afternoon as well. Charlton 14th for the moment. Also today, Everton against Leeds, and we'll keep you up to date with those games. Well, Liverpool owe their high position to Michael Owen's scoring exploit. 7 in 7 already this season, 6 in the Premiership. He scored 70% of their goals. Heskey and Kewell, the only other Liverpool players to have scored so far. So, George, clearly impossible to overestimate his importance.
It's unbelievable how a team as big as Liverpool have got to rely on one player. And I've been saying over the last few seasons, really, they've got to have goals, you know, from more positions. I think it was a couple of years, Marcus, a couple of years ago that they actually scored in all competitions more than 100 goals. But the centre-halves were weighing in with goals from set pieces. They were getting goals from other positions. But they still rely on Michael to get goals. And I'm sure Gerrard is hoping that Heskey comes good. Harry Kewell is going to weigh in with some goals. They've got the talent to do it. And Diouf, who actually has been having a good season and finished up last season playing very, very well, he's got to come in with some goals as well.
Well, Owen broke Liverpool's European goal-scoring record during the week, of course, beating Ian Rush's record. There are the comparisons, 21 European goals now for Owen in 45 appearances. Rush 20 in only 38 games. Now, here's the big question for you, George. If you could choose either, at full fitness, in their peak, which of those two would you go for?
Oh, ask me a difficult question, Marcus. It's a very difficult one. I think there's two questions to be answered. One, is Michael going to be playing for Liverpool in as many European competitions, in many games? That's number one. And number two is, can you get a partner as good as Kenny Dalglish? Rush played when they were at their peak. They were winning championships, they were winning European Cups, and they had Kenny Dalglish making goals for them. Ian Rush was a fantastic, one of the best finishers I've ever seen. But if Michael stays long enough at Liverpool, and if Liverpool start winning championships, there's no reason why he can't equal or even better Ian Rush's record.
You haven't quite answered my question, though. Owen or Rush for you?
I've managed to avoid it. I think the jury's out because nobody knows how long Michael will stay at Anfield and how long will he play. You know, if he plays into about 30 years of age, I think he will beat Rush's
I don't mind what happens to Owen in the future. I'm talking about right now, George.
Ian Rush has proved it, and I would have to take Ian Rush.
I finally got a straight answer out of you, Ian Rush. You mentioned El Hadj Diouf, who cost £10 million and underperformed really last season, but would you agree he is starting to pay back that fee now?
Yeah, and I think he's getting used to English football. I think when he played in France, Marcus, he was a centre forward. He came over here and obviously he's found it difficult. But they've found a place for him out wide in midfield, and believe me, he is a hard-working player. He gets up and back to do his defensive duties. Now he's got to, I think he's only scored one goal in the last 33 games. Well, you know, that's not good enough. You know, he's got to sort of like take the pressure off Michael Owen. He's got to sort of start coming in with some goals, as has Harry Kewell.
OK, well, Gerrard Hyypia has been delighted with Diouf's improvement, and he says that Michael Owen deserves all the success that has come his way.
But if Michael has broken that record, it's because he's worked hard. And there's two things about Michael. He's very enthusiastic. He's I would say, always full of, you know, desire to improve and to do well. He listens, and he takes on board very quickly. And as he's gifted, he's talented. When he has to work on his left foot, when he has to work on his heading, when he has to work on his movement, he just takes a few things and just puts it into his game, which is good. Regarding El Hadj, I made a mistake last season because I didn't take into account the fact that the boy had played one African Nation Cup right to the end, to the last penalty kick of the final, after extra time and so forth, and also played a World Cup. So he played an African Nation Cup in February and a World Cup in June. And maybe we were expecting too much of the boy who had to settle into the English game and learn the language, come to know, you know, his teammates and so on. So I think he had a reasonable season, I mean, when you take into account that. And we also forgot one thing, that he's only 21, I mean, he's just 22 now. So I think now, obviously, he seems to come to terms to the game, which is played here in England, and he's a very disciplined player. He's like Michael, he likes to learn, you know, everything you tell him, he would put him into his game, and that will improve him. So I personally think that he will become a player for Liverpool. The players know the faith I have in them. The players know that I've always backed them, and at some stage I knew they would deliver. We know the title is not going to be won in September, neither in October. It's a long marathon, and we'll keep our head up despite the few injuries we have, and as I said, we'll keep the momentum going.
Well, just a reminder that today's game here on Premiership Plus is a pay-per-view match. Our pitches are going to be encrypted in about 15 minutes and available then only to Premiership Plus season ticket holders or to viewers who've made individual match buys. If you've not yet ordered the game, you can do so right now. For Sky Digital customers, simply press select on your remote and follow the on-screen instructions, or call 08705 160 160. Alternatively, you can still buy the season ticket and get yourself the remaining 35 games for a one-off amount. That number again, 08705 160 160. Now, love him or loathe him, you have to admit that in Paolo Di Canio, Charlton have a genuine entertainer. Flamboyant, feisty, passionate, and oh so skillful. There's never a dull moment when Paolo's around. He first made his mark on the British game at Celtic in the 96-97 season. 12 goals made him an immediate favourite with the fans. But in May 97, he threatened to leave over the sacking of Tommy Burns and quickly found himself out of favour. Next stop, Hillsborough in a £4.5 million deal. Again, he was quick to grab a slice of the action, becoming top scorer and doing so in real style. But the good times didn't last long. Remember this exactly 5 years ago?
Oh, and Paolo Di Canio is in big trouble. Already sent off, and then he's thrust the referee to the ground.
He was on his bike with an 11-match ban, never to play for the Owls again. But there was much more to come. Harry Redknapp brought him back to England in January 99, and once more he soon had the fans eating out of his hands.
Di Canio, I do not believe that. Would you believe it? That sums it all up.
However, the highs have always been followed by the lows. As West Ham struggled, Di Canio grumbled. Further bouts of ill discipline led to more run-ins with the FA. And although he scored some crucial goals in the battle against relegation last season, the Hammers decided not to renew his contract. Still he wasn't finished though, joining Charlton on a free at the beginning of the new campaign and popping up with a last-minute equaliser against Luton in the Carling Cup on Tuesday. What next? Well, with Paolo, anything's possible. Well, after his exploits on Tuesday, he's suffering with tired legs, and that's why he's on the bench today. George, I know he's not necessarily your cup of tea as a player, but would you agree the game needs entertainers like Paolo Di Canio?
Yes, I do. I mean, there's no question about it. He has got world-class technical ability. The question mark over him would be, you know, is he a team player? You know, two big clubs in England he's played for. Both of them have got relegated, Sheffield Wednesday and West Ham.
Doesn't bode too well for Charlton, does it?
No, but I mean, Charlton have always been renowned, Marcus, for, you know, their team play, their discipline, their wonderful team spirit to get results. And this comes a little bit of a surprise for me.
Now, Kevin Lisbie starts up front with Sean Bartlett today. Not universally popular with the supporters, apparently. George, what do you say to a player, particularly before a home game, when he's coming in for some criticism from his own fans?
Well, you try to build up confidence in him as much as you can day after day at the training ground. You try to tell him, don't let the crowd affect you. But it has been difficult. I mean, I've been a manager of teams, and people like Chris Armstrong at Tottenham and Brian Marwood at Arsenal.
he got booed by everybody, didn't he?
No, it's a very difficult one, because once the crowd get this attitude that you're not for them, it's a very difficult thing to shrug off.
He's scored 15 times in 136 appearances, but essentially, to be fair to him, he's a wide player, isn't he? Not a striker.
Yeah, I mean, I've always associated him with being a wide midfield player. Hard-working, very, very quick, goes up and down the flanks, but not a natural goal scorer as his appearances show. He's only scored about 13, 15 goals for Charlton. So I think his best position really is probably wide of midfield.
Well, the man who has to give him his pep talk today is Alan Kirbishley, and he's now talking with our reporter, Guy Havord.
Alan, you beat Liverpool here last season. I think you need a win today, don't you, to pick things up, particularly at the Valley?
We certainly do. I mean, we've had a similar start to last season. We didn't win any of our first 4 home games last year. And, if we don't get anything today, it's the same result, really. Tough game, but, they all are. So we're coming in today's game, full of expectations that we can go and get a result.
It's just 1 win in 8 here at the Valley in the Premiership, which is amazing for you. Why is that?
Well, I think, I don't want to make too many excuses, but at the end of last year we was really depleted at the back. We had Rufus, Rowett, Fish, Gerrard, and El Khalid, another centre-half we brought in last year, all out for the run-in last year, and we just couldn't cope. Similar story this year. We've still got Rufus, Rowett and Gerrard out, but we just got to get on with it. I mean, it's a bad record. We know that. We've got to do something about turning it around.
A lot of speculation again today in the Sunday papers about your future, linking you with Tottenham. You're shrugging. You've done a lot of interviews already this week. Are you surprised the story hasn't been killed?
Yeah, I don't think Tottenham have even got a short list as such. But obviously the press have got to start, putting their list together and start talking about it all the time, and it is a bit boring. What else can I say apart from what I've said this week? And really, I should just leave it alone now, I think.
I mean, if Tottenham did say that they wanted to talk to you, would you talk to them?
Yeah, but that's a ridiculous question to put to any manager when he's working at another club, and it's just not feasible, is it?
Well, good luck today. Thanks for your time.
Okay.
I think he's getting pretty fed up with all the speculation. If Spurs do have a shortlist, you'd hope by now they did. They might want to have a look at Alan Kirbishley's record since the turn of the year. Charlton's second bottom in the Premiership table, only Tottenham below them, which highlights the problems he's having in his own back garden just at the moment.
The expectation, Marcus. I mean, Charlton's aim is to sort of stay in the Premiership, and survival in the Premiership, is a fantastic result. And Alan Kirbishley's proved that year in, year out. But Tottenham expectations is much higher than that. Their expectations really are to get in the top 6.
Do you think it's time that Alan Kirbishley did leave Charlton?
Well, I've said it in the past, hasn't I? Sometimes a manager, can stay there too long. If after a while he doesn't move, he's got to move the core of his team and get new players in all the time.
Is he the sort of manager that Spurs should seriously be looking at?
I think he's been I think he's done an excellent job for Charlton. And
but could he do it at a supposedly
bigger club? I think he could, yes.
OK, time will tell. Just a further reminder that today's game here on Premiership Plus is a pay-per-view match. Our pictures will be encrypted in a few moments' time. Available then only to Premiership Plus season ticket holders or to viewers who've made individual match buys. If you've not yet ordered the game, you can do so right now. For Sky Digital customers, simply press select on your remote and follow the on-screen instructions or call 08705 160 160. Alternatively, you can still buy the season ticket and get yourself the remaining 35 games for a one-off amount. That number again, 08705 160 160. Scott Parker was linked with a move to Tottenham and to Chelsea during the summer. He's still at the club, and he's your key man today, George.
Yes, a young player, 22 years of age, Marcus. He's already broke into the England setup. He reminds me so much, of Steven Gerrard in many ways. Not the same stature, but loves tackling, loves winning the ball, and then setting up chances after that, like it shows you here. He now bursts through the midfield, and it's a lovely outside of the foot little pass here to finish with a great goal. Good all-round modern midfield player. Breaks forward.
Scored the other night.
Yeah, breaks forward. Doesn't score a lot of goal, but gets his share. Breaks down the opposition moves and then sets his players up.
How much would he be worth in the current transfer market?
Well, it's very difficult just to say that. I think Charlton will put a high valuation on him, around about 5 million, something like that. And even then, I don't think it'd be enough.
The age of 22, though, it could be money well spent, couldn't it?
Fantastic. Got a lovely mental attitude to the game as well. Wants to be a winner.
Well, he'll have to be at his best if Charlton are to maintain a pretty reasonable Premiership record against Liverpool at the Valley.
his sights here. How impressive is that?
Bookies have made their mind up today, which is perhaps no surprise considering the respective home and away records of Charlton and Liverpool. Charlton 72, Liverpool 11-8 on, and the draw 9-4. Prediction-wise, so far this season, George has got 1 right and 4 wrong. I hate to keep reminding you of this, but it's a basic fact. What's going to happen today?
Well, it's a difficult one again, Marcus, I think. But if you look at the away record of Liverpool, they've not lost away. Charlton have not lost at home, and that's why the bookies have made Liverpool red-hot favourites. And unless Charlton get back on the winning ways, especially at home, they're going to be, you know, having a long, long season. But I still take Liverpool to win.
Fingers crossed for you. Let us join our match commentators. The man who was booed throughout his illustrious career by everybody, Brian Marwood, chatting away with Alan Parry.
He even got booed here today at the Valley.
I was just pleased that George called me young, actually, when you mentioned it earlier.
Now, with all the attention being lavished on Chelsea at the moment and the long-term rivalry between Arsenal and Manchester United, it seems, Brian, as though Liverpool have sneaked up on the rails in the Premiership. Actually, by this time next week, they could be top of the table. So how do you rate their prospects in the Championship race this season?
Well, it's amazing. After a couple of weeks, everybody was writing Liverpool off. Everybody was saying that Gerrard Hyypia was going to be the first managerial casualty. And as you've rightly said, they win here today and they beat Arsenal next Saturday, then they could be sitting top of the pile. So I think when you look at the squad that Gerrard Hyypia has put together, you have to consider them as being Championship contenders. Whether they win it or not, well, only time will tell, but they'll certainly be in the mix come May next year.
OK, let's have a look at the teams. Charlton conceded 4 goals at home to second division Luton in midweek. Hardly the ideal preparation for the visit of Liverpool, who've won on 7 of their last 9 visits to the Valley. So there is a change in defence, where the experienced Chris Perry, who's on loan from Tottenham, replaces youth team graduate Jonathan Fortune. The other significant change is in attack. Paulo Di Canio was feeling unwell after training yesterday, so he's not been risked. Charlton going with the front 2 of Kevin Lisbie and Sean Bartlett, who caused Liverpool so many problems when the teams met at Anfield last season.
Well, in these parts, speculation building as to whether Alan Kirbishley may well become the new manager at Spurs, but I'm sure he'll be hoping to put that to one side today and stay focused for what is likely to be a very, very difficult game. You know, having not won in front of your own fans this season and conceding 7 goals in 3 home games, confidence is bound to be low. So it'll certainly be up to the more experienced players in this side, like Fish, Holland, Perry and Stuart, to really take the lead. Heard George talking in the studio about Scott Parker. He started the season very, very well. He'll be hoping to break forward from midfield and support the front 2. And it's a front 2 who are not renowned goal scorers, and given Liverpool's ability to defend well, I think both Lisbie and Bartlett are going to have their work cut out here this afternoon.
Liverpool make 3 changes from the team that drew in Slovenia in midweek in their opening UEFA Cup tie. Steve Finnan returns for Salif Diao at right back. El Diouf is back from suspension to replace Anthony Tallec in midfield, and Steven Gerrard comes into the starting lineup for Danny Murphy. In fact, this is the same Liverpool side that beat Leicester a week ago. Jamie Carragher, Milan Barosh and Didi Hamann are all on the list of long-term casualties.
Well, we've just been talking about, haven't we, after an indifferent start to the season. You know, Liverpool have hit a bit of form and the team looks to be better balanced at the moment. You know, Biscan has slotted in very well alongside Hyypia. And as last season, Liverpool have looked very good defensively. In midfield, Kewell seems to get better and better. And the real surprise to me has been the form of Smicer and El Diouf. Certainly Schmeitzer's problems from that area of the field has led inevitably to Michael Owen getting among the goals. 7 goals already is a testimony certainly to how sharp he is at the moment. I talked about Smicer, and certainly this central midfield role seems to be suiting him. I think the jury was out after last season's performances by the Czech international, but this year he's played alongside Gerrard in the centre of midfield, and he's got forward extremely well. Certainly got good energy levels, he's got the ability to finish off chances, and he's certainly got the ability to go in and around defenders. Perhaps on this occasion his finishing wasn't great, but he has been certainly one of the bonuses for Liverpool so far.
Liverpool weren't too convincing in Europe in midweek, but their recent form in the Premiership has been excellent. 3 successive victories against Everton and Blackburn Rovers away, and Leicester at Anfield to recover from a poor start. Defeated home to Chelsea and 2 goalless draws against Aston Villa and Spurs. The Charlton players, well, they must be a little concerned about their home form of late. Going back to the end of last season, it's now just 1 win in 8 games for them here at the Valley. A ground staging Premiership football for the 3rd successive season. No great concern that it's opened so disappointingly, because Charlton fans have grown accustomed to their team being slow starters. But the visit of Liverpool, of course, is always one of the highlights of the season here south of the River Thames. There's a capacity crowd as Charlton go in search of their first home win of the new season. But Gerrard Hyypia's team, as you've heard, are on a roll. They're looking to make it 4 wins out of 4 in the Premiership, and with Michael Owen arguably in the best form of his career. It's Charlton against Liverpool, the whole game live.
If David Blaine listens very carefully, he may hear what goes on at the Valley this afternoon. Back to Brian Marwood and Alan Parry.
Welcome back to the Valley. Hardline referee Rob Stiles is the man in charge. In just 3 Premiership games this season, he's issued 5 red cards, 19 yellows, and awarded 4 penalties. So the players know what to expect. If Liverpool can manage a victory here at the Valley today, they'll move into 4th place in the Premiership table, just 3 points behind the leaders Arsenal, who are their next opponents at Anfield on Saturday. Charlton start the game in 14th position, and if they take all 3 points, they'll move into mid-table alongside Blackburn and Fulham. Liverpool in their change strip of white jerseys today. Steven Gerrard on the ball straight away, hustled in possession. You can expect a lot of that. Jensen for Charlton in the red shirts, of course. And a skillful early run by the Dane, and a clever ball in as well. Riise with the clearance. Gone back to Klaus Jensen, and now Chris Powell. Bright start here by Charlton, straight out of the traps, going for Liverpool. Gerrard's header misplaced, but he was able to recover well. Then Kewell lost possession, and the first free kick of the game to Liverpool.
Well, certainly Charlton look as if they want to make this game fairly competitive in its early stages, and I think that will please their manager. He won't want the likes of Steven Gerrard and Smicer and Kewell to get time and room on the ball to create untold damage.
Graham Stuart doing well. Knows a number of these Liverpool players, having been a former Everton man. Now Finnan. Michael Owen just holding off the defender cleverly, feeding it back to Finnan, who gives it away to the South African Fish. Jensen. Bartlett. Gerrard wins it back for Liverpool after Biscan's earlier challenge has left Bartlett feeling an injury. Riise, finding Kewell, and it goes to Emil Heskey. Diouf on the right, 2 Liverpool men on the far post, both calling for the early ball. Good tussle between Diouf and Powell, and in the end, he overhit the cross.
Well, it was promising, wasn't it? Diouf, who's been in some good form of late, and I'm sure that'll be an interesting battle up against Chrissy Powell. Powell, of course, got the experience, been around these parts for a long, long time. But Diouf loves to get at defenders, and he's got good ability when he's on the ball.
Charlton with just 1 win and 2 draws from their opening 6 games, but they did make a very similar start last season and went on to finish a respectable 12th. They've lost their last 2, though, in the Premiership, at home to Manchester United and away to Aston Villa. They also lost here at the Valley on the opening day against Manchester City. Their only win so far, 4-0 at Wolves. Here's Lisbie. Only Bartlett in the penalty area for Charlton at the moment. 2 goals in 5 games this season, Kevin Lisbie. He's already halfway towards his total for the whole of last season. The lay-off by Stuart. Well, Liverpool win it back thanks to Kewell's interception. Clever run. Gerrard. On to Owen, plenty of space. El Hadj to his right. Powell blocked the shot. And suddenly it opens up in the middle of the field for Charlton with Parker. And now Jensen. And that's a very good ball too for Lisbie. Riise just closed him down, and that was so important. Parker. Needs some help here. And in fact, I think he gets the free kick for the challenge by Gerrard, who looks a little nonplussed at the decision.
Well, he's actually looking at the referee's assistant, who was a matter of feet away from the incident, and he didn't flag at all. He didn't think there was anything wrong with that, and I think I'd have to agree with the assistant. And Rob Stiles, who's got to be 40 yards away, makes a decision for him.
In towards Fish. The header, in fact, was by Lisbie.
Tell you what is interesting, that would worry me in many respects from Alan Kirbish's point of view, as already Liverpool have started brightly down their right-hand side. A good opportunity from a set piece, but Finnan on 2 or 3 occasions has broke free. And Klaus Jensen's going to get the balance between just slotting in alongside Parker and Holland, central midfield, and making sure that he protects Chris Powell.
Hyypia, the Liverpool skipper. Diouf back from suspension in that position on the right of midfield. He seems to have made his own. Riise. Hyypia again, now over 200 games for Liverpool. What a great signing he's been. Steven Gerrard. Kewell has dropped off his defender. The ball was picked off by Parker. Straight to Riise though. And an early ball for Michael Owen. Brilliant! And he's got Heskey up in support. Good tackle.
Well, it actually came about through Scott Parker's careless play in midfield. And you can't afford to do this against this Liverpool side. They're as good a side as there is around in counter-attacking. With the pace of Kewell and Owen, really is going to create an awful lot of problems for Charlton if they're going to give the ball away like that.
Hyypia forward, but the corner's gone short, in fact, to Kewell. Now back into the danger area. It bypassed Heskey and Owen. Lisbie under pressure. Here's Riise, who we know can hit them, but ran into a cul-de-sac then. Parker. Long ball by Young. And over the head of Bartlett, but Lisbie could cause a problem for Liverpool here. Biscan very steady. And given away by El Hadj. Lisbie shot. Blocked by Finnan. Back out to Jensen. Great run again from the Danish international. Liverpool under pressure. Stuart's half-hit shot scrambled away, and that's a corner.
Well, very, very messy, wasn't it, from Liverpool? You do expect better defending from that. I mentioned earlier about how strong they have been defensively over the past 18 months, but they're incredibly sloppy there.
Perry has made his way forward. Gerrard's clearance out to Parker, who lashed at that one a little too quickly. Certainly goal scoring is not one of the departments of his game that he can look back on with too much pride so far.
Well, he's angry with himself, and rightly so here, because this is a good opportunity. His first touch is the key, and he gets that absolutely spot on. It sets him up for a strike on goal, and he'll be bitterly disappointed he hasn't made the keeper work.
Smicer finding room in midfield, now finding Biscan. Steven Gerrard, this is his 200th appearance for Liverpool. Kewell, on to Owen. Surrounded by 4 Charlton players immediately. Riise's cross, away by Powell. Gerrard. Excellent pass for Diouf. Smicer. And given away by Diouf, that's the second time he's done that in a matter of minutes. Lisbie. Jensen. He loves to take players on, and he's doing so to good effect so far.
Got a good pace to this football match, Alan, and I think that's going to be the key to what sort of performance that we get from both sides. You know, Charlton need to keep going at this sort of pace and really look to get at Liverpool.
Perry, who's on loan from Tottenham. The ball cleared by Riise. Liverpool 7th in the Premiership table with 11 points from their 6 games. They started last season unbeaten in their first dozen games and led the Premiership for over a month before finishing disappointingly for them 5th. Charlton get another free kick. Smith's foul.
Well, that time the referee's assistant did flag.
Fish, a giant figure in the middle for Liverpool to be aware of. Fellow South African Sean Bartlett just behind him, and they make a run. It was Riise who got his head to the ball first. El Diouf with the clearance. Powell all alone, apart from his goalkeeper in the Charlton half. Finnan's clearance has gone straight to Parker. The England under-21 international finds Powell. Back again to Scott Parker. Round Finnan with ease. Well, Liverpool have conceded a free kick.
Well, they look nice and bright, haven't they, Charlton? And certainly don't look like a side that really is suffering confidence playing at the Valley. Their home record really has been poor.
Given away, though, by Stuart. They also have a poor record against Liverpool. They've only beaten them twice in the last 21 meetings. Michael Owen complaining to the referee about the challenge. Perry's angle pass headed clear by Biscan. And El Diouf fouled by Parker. Heskey, who scored the late winner in Liverpool's last Premiership game against his old club Leicester. His first goal in half a dozen games this season. And he could be the target for Gerrard's free kick. And he picks him out well. Powell. Bartlett. Smicer back well to regain possession. Now Finnan for Liverpool. Loose ball. Biscan had to take control of things. And then Dudek slices his clearance. Looking very edgy at the back.
Well, perhaps the key might be that Charlton have worked them so hard, and if they are to get something out of this football match, they need to keep that going. You know, we saw that a few weeks ago when we were down at St Mary's, Southampton against Manchester United. That's exactly what the home team did that day.
Foul on Heskey. The referee rightly has let play go on. Smicer. And now Diouf. Smicer wants it back, and Owen's on the far post. Good recovery by Stuart. Referee might go back to that earlier incident and produce a card for Parker for the challenge on Emil Heskey.
Well, he's just having a word, and thankfully the referees seem to have got the message that's flowing through, that there's been far too many yellow cards and red cards this season. It is a late challenge, and maybe a week ago Scott Parker would have faced a yellow card, but thankfully it looks as if the penny is beginning to drop.
Gerrard. Back by Biscan. That's a much better clearance from Dudek. And Heskey right underneath it. Pinging out Michael Owen. Great turn by Owen. Diouf takes over. He's only scored once in his last 33 Premiership games.
Well, it's a fantastic header from Emil Heskey, and he's got a bang on the head for his troubles, but he really did rise majestically from the ball from Dudek, and the little flick on to Michael Owen. Unfortunately, Owen can't convert it into a better opportunity for himself, and instead El Diouf following up. But when Liverpool have got forward, as you would expect, the ability they've got in the midfield four and the front two, they are going to cause Charlton problems.
Sun comes out again on another unseasonably warm day here. Poor clearance by Finnan this time. Liverpool guilty of giving the ball away several times already in the opening 12 minutes in their half. Header ball from Hyypia, and a good header on by Heskey, but Powell read it well. Kiely looking a little uncertain, and Owen will just increase that uncertainty. Diouf. Finnan. Owen in space, wanted the ball early. He's come back out to El Diouf, and now Smicer. Easy interception for Fish. Parker. Charlton have only scored 7 goals in their 6 Premiership games so far, and of course their leading scorer Jason Newell is missing through suspension. He's out of favour at the moment anyway with Alan Kirbishley. He's got 3 of those goals. Holland onto Jensen. Former Ipswich man in possession again. Biscan's clearance, straight to Chris Powell. And took the difficult route, and it was blocked off by Diouf. Finnan going long, but over the head of Michael Owen. Kewell will keep pursuing that one and won't make life easy for Stuart, who did well.
Yeah, that's a problem for Charlton, you know, when they do get up towards the final third. You just wonder whether they've got the thrust from the front two to get goals. And that's got to be a big worry for Alan Kirbishley. You can understand why that he brought Paolo Di Canio in the summer. Still short of match fitness, of course, but they are really struggling for getting goals. And you know, you can't always guarantee that your back four and your midfield four are going to protect and keep clean sheets.
Jensen again running at players, but this time gifted possession to Biscan. Finnan. Diouf. And Smicer dispossessed by Parker. Jensen. Lisbie, good tackle by Biscan. Parker wins it back. Crowd responding to what's been a very bright opening quarter of an hour here. Fine ball by Finnan to the opposite flank. John Riise. Kewell. Oh, what a great ball that is. And slid home. Vladimir Smicer on the end of a brilliant through ball by Harry Kewell. Liverpool take the lead. A quarter of an hour gone.
Well, perhaps Charlton should have had a look at the analysis that we did at the top of the programme. I talked about the runs from central midfield from Vladimir Smicer. Just have a look at his position there, and no one goes with him. That's awful defending, really, from Charlton. You know, if the midfield player isn't going to track Smicer, then one of the centre-halves has got to pick him up. But full credit to Harry Kewell. He spots the pass. Great first touch by the Czech international. And how composed is he with the finish? He sees the goalkeeper coming quickly to his feet, and it's a little dink over Kiely. Thank you very much indeed. 1-0, fabulous finish. Seems to be getting better and better for Gerrard Houllier.
That's Smicser's first goal in the Premiership for 16 months. The only time he scored last season was in a Champions League match. And it's given Liverpool the perfect start at the Valley, where they have such a fine record in recent times. Jensen, as Charlton tried to hit back straight away. Lisbie couldn't escape the close marking, and suddenly Owen is in between defender and goalkeeper at the other end.
Looking very bright, isn't he, Michael Owen? You can see that he's in the mood. His body language is always looking to get in behind the last defender.
Here's Kewell again. What a brilliant ball that was to set up the Smicer goal. And this time he looks for Owen. And Owen's got away from his man and brought down by Perry.
There's one thing I look to Michael Owen this season. I don't know whether he's been on an extensive weight training programme in the summer, but he looks far bulkier, doesn't he? You know, when you look at these his top half there, he looks a lot stronger than what he was in recent years, and I think that that's only going to benefit him. You know, we know he's got electrifying pace, but he's also got that strength and ability to hold off defenders.
As Gerrard looks for Heskey. Certainly, I know Owen has been on a long programme to overcome all the hamstring problems he's had. He's feeling sharper, he's feeling fitter and stronger than ever before, and that's been reflected in his play. 7 goals in 7 games. Not that his goal-scoring record was exactly anything to be ashamed of before that.
Well, this is certainly going to be a big test for Charlton. You know, we talked about how woeful their home record is, and the fact they've gone 1-0 down after 16 minutes, 17 minutes of this football match now, and you know, looking around, it'll be interesting to see how the players react. And you know, I talked about the experienced players Alan Kirbishley has in his side. You know, the likes of Fish at the back and Matty Holland and Graham Stuart in midfield and Klaus Jensen. It's up to those players alongside this young man Scotty Parker to really try and drive the team on now.
Here's Bartlett. Not a bad cross. Holland on the far post. Jensen in behind him. Diouf battled well to win that for Liverpool. Finnan takes it on. Smicer's layoff to El Hadj Diouf. Kewell in this free row, really enjoying the extra room he seems to find. Riise's cross. Come back out to Gerrard. Tried to set himself up for the shot, but showed too much of the ball to Luke Young. Liverpool keep possession. Harry Kewell. Gerrard. Diouf. Biscan still filling in very effectively for the injured Stefan Onšu, although Onšu was on the bench against Ljubljana in Slovenia in midweek. Keep ball for Liverpool here. And in it goes to Heskey, who's offside.
Well, Steven Gerrard, there was speculation whether he would play here today, carrying a slight knock, and Gerard Houllier was talking about resting him potentially, but he's just sat in front of that back four and passed the ball around with great simplicity and great ease, and allowed Smicer just to bomb on and join the front two, and of course they've got the benefits with the goal.
Here's Bartlett. Hyypia following him all the way out. Parker. Lisbie in the box. Jensen in behind him. Lisbie's header could have caused Liverpool a problem.
Should have been a problem, Alan. That's a great chance, you know.
Holland. Powell. It's a good ball in. Lisbie looking bright and lively early on here. Finnan takes the ball off him though, and that's good play by the former Fulham man. Gerrard. Kewell got that a little late. Parker now. And a good ball. And in the middle is Lisbie. He must have been inches away from making contact.
That's superb play, wasn't it, by the home side? Really the first great chance that they've had. It really ought to have been converted. I said I had a real worry about them getting goals here this afternoon, but they didn't come any better than that as far as chances go.
Just nicked away from the on-rushing Stuart. Liverpool concede a throw. Taken early by Luke Young. Here is Stuart again. Young's cross, dangerous. Holland back into the mix. Now Parker. The ball wouldn't cross the line quickly enough for Riise, but he's got away with it.
Well, certainly a couple of good opportunities for Kevin Lisbie. One from the header, which he ought to have done better with. And this opportunity to fabulous run from Luke Young from that right-back position. He really did take the initiative to Liverpool, and it just needs the merest of touches by one of the strikers, and it was Lisbie in there, but he can't get that crucial last touch. He's certainly short on confidence, short on goals, Kevin Lisbie, but he needs to keep himself going.
Kewell wins the header, and it's been sliced to Owen. He's been given offside, but that's a dubious decision because the defender actually played the ball to him.
Well, unless the initial ball, he was in an offside position. I can't understand then why. Michael Owen is there, well, marginally, you could say, which might just get the referee and his assistant off the hook there.
Riise beaten to the header, and good tackle by Sami Hyypia. But Young, the former Tottenham man, might look for a bit of distance on the throw this time. Mark Fish is on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he might have had a little nudge in the back there. They've got a corner anyway.
Well, there's been enough endeavour from Charlton, hasn't it, to suggest that there may well be something here from them. But, you know, if they are going to get chances, as we have seen in this opening period, Alan, they're going to have to take full advantage of it.
Good header away by Heskey. Parker. Fish. Back again to Scott Parker. Hyypia with another vital challenge. How many of those does he make in a game?
What did he cost? 2.5 million. Got to be arguably Gerrard Hyypia's best signing.
And he'll have his work cut out here to mark Fish on the near post. Well, Liverpool, whilst they were preoccupied with Fish, forgot about the other centre-back, Chris Perry.
Well, you've got to say, there's another chance gone begging, and it's a good chance again. Chris Perry, good movement in the box by the Charlton players, and he gets there ahead of Igor Biscan.
His only previous appearance in the 2-0 home defeat here against Manchester United. He's on a month's loan from Spurs. Liverpool's one shot on target has produced one goal. And the goal scorer, Smicer, closing down Luke Young. Seems to be in top form this season, the Czech Republic international, long-time favourite of Gerrard Hyypia's. I think it's fair to say a lot of Liverpool fans haven't always shared Hyypia's enthusiasm about him. But he's playing very well at the moment. Holland, Powell, given away to Hyypia. It's broken again to Kewell. Trying to tempt Powell into the challenge, sets himself up for the cross, leaves it instead to Gerrard. Whoops. And again, Stevie Gerrard. Powell's volleyed clearance. Biscan came to meet it. His header's gone straight to Jensen, though. Lisbie to his right, Bartlett to his left, and Parker in close support. Now Heskey as Liverpool hit Charlton on the break again with Michael Owen. Gerrard really making things tick for Liverpool in the middle of the field. His passing has been excellent. Here's Kewell, whose pass set up the goal. Stayed patient, but in the end wasted the opportunity.
Oh, what a fantastic start for Liverpool, and what a wonderful pass it was from Harry Kewell. Certainly came inside and produced a defence-splitting pass. I do have question marks about the way Charlton defended the run from Vladimir Smicer, but the finish is absolutely top draw.
Here's Jensen. Bartlett. Cross towards Lisbie. Clever header, actually.
It's still never convincing, isn't it? And I think that's the problems that Charlton have got when they have got into that final third. They need to have a little bit more belief in themselves when they get into this position that they're going to score goals.
Heskey just got a touch on that one to Owen. Luke Young closing him down, but as ever, he's got the pace to open things up. And then it's been given away by Harry Kewell. Powell. Jensen. Lisbie sets off for goal. And then runs into trouble in the shape of Smicer.
Well, you can just hear the fans, can't you, at the moment with young Kevin Lisbie. It's a real difficult time for him. You know, they've seen him miss a couple of good opportunities, just giving the ball away then. You know, this is going to be a big test of his character now.
Great layoff by Owen to Diouf. This is Gerrard for Liverpool. Good pressure by Charlton, that's better. And Fish comes to meet Dudek's clearance, but straight to Sami Hyypia. Now Gerrard. Finnan. Great ball by Biscan. Diouf. This is Owen. They look very convincing in possession today, Liverpool. Lovely ball. Gerrard, Finnan. Gets it back from Heskey. But Charlton are chasing shadows just now.
Well, just had a little switch around Liverpool, haven't they? Harry Kewell playing on the right-hand side now, Diouf on the left, but I've got to say, Steven Gerrard just dictating the pace of the game, central midfield for Liverpool, going and get the ball off the back four, nonchalantly knocking balls either right or left, and just keeping Liverpool's momentum going.
Gerrard Houllier tried to rest him, of course, in midweek, Gerrard, but had to bring him back off the bench inside the first 15 minutes when Danny Murphy got an injury. Murphy has recovered, and he is amongst the Liverpool substitutes today. Young's throw, looking for Lisbie, away by Sami Hyypia to Diouf. Heskey. Gerrard. Kewell looks to pick out Smicer again. It's another clever run by the Czech Republic player, and the throw-in has gone the way of Charlton. I suppose one concern for Liverpool at the moment must be keeping Emil Heskey and Michael Owen fit, because having lost Milan Baroš, they could have a problem there if either of those two were to pick up a long-term injury. They've got Kewell, I suppose, and even Smicer as options.
Well, Smicer and Kewell in particular now are doing very well in midfield, so I don't think that Gerrard Houllier will want to change it too much if they do get injuries to both Heskey and Owen. But as you've rightly said, Baroš's injury is going to be out for a long, long time now, and whether he's got the option of bringing back Neil Mellor, who's on loan at West Ham.
Here's a chance for Lisbie against Dudek! And he's taken it! Half an hour gone. Charlton are level.
Well, I wondered how the youngster would respond after he missed a couple of chances in this opening half hour. And there's your answer. Absolutely superb finish. Some sloppy play, really, from Liverpool. It's a fabulous first touch from Graham Stuart to find Lisbie, who made a superb run forward. And then he's 1v1. The keeper has certainly committed himself very early indeed. And very similar in many respects to the goal from Vladimir Smicer. He finds the perfect chip over the goalkeeper into the back of the net, and even Powell can celebrate.
Well, they say Kevin Lisbie is having a hard time and been getting a lot of stick from the crowd here. That's 3 goals in 6 appearances. And Liverpool, from looking in the comfort zone, are suddenly feeling distinctly uncomfortable. Finnan finds himself under pressure from Powell. Biscan's miskick clearance straight to Parker. Late challenge by Gerrard. The referee saw nothing wrong with it, though. Kewell, a lovely little ball again for Smicer. Those two really on the same wavelength, but not Smicer and Owen.
Well, that goal shows you an awful lot about the character of this young man. You know, there was perhaps question marks. He's gone 4 attempts or 3 attempts up to his goal, where he certainly looked out of form in front of goal, and then he comes up with a classic finish.
And Liverpool gift the ball back to Charlton. A sloppy play, allowing them to win a throw. Here's Powell. Jensen. Given away to Harry Kewell.
Well, I said about balance of this Liverpool side, and I thought that in recent weeks they've looked very well balanced. I just think that Harry Kewell looks far more effective when he plays on the left-hand side, and certainly Diouf better on the right.
Here's Smicer. Owen. Still Owen. Strange pass that was from Smicer. Straight to Bartlett. Holland. And it was Gerrard, as ever, who came back and broke up that Charlton attack.
It's a very open game out there, isn't it? It's making it an extremely attractive proposition for the fans to watch, because Both sides are having chances, both sides are having plenty of the ball.
As Diouf looks to get Heskey in behind Perry. Young's clearance gives Liverpool the throw. Unbeaten in 3 away games this season, Liverpool. Away to Aston Villa, which they drew. They beat Everton and Blackburn on their travels. They won 9 and lost 8 on the road last season, and actually scored more goals away from home than they did at Anfield.
A lot of people felt that their style complemented their ability away from home, because I think they like to defend in good numbers and then rely on the pace of Michael Owen. Well, they've certainly got the extra pace now of Harry Kewell, if you like, this season.
Gerrard, the ball always seems attracted to him. Finnan. It's come to Heskey! He's offside.
Well, it's a good decision, I think, from the referee's assistant. When I first looked at it, the little nick from Michael Owen near post. There's a little flick. Emil Heskey, yeah, you can see he's offside. Good decision, good finish, to be fair, from the big man. A lot of power behind that shot with his left foot.
Mr. Proctor Green. They're getting posher, these linesmen. Hyypia has made a mistake here that could be very costly. Saved by Dudek. Bartlett and Lisbie are both on fire at the moment, and Lisbie, who scored the goal, almost added a second then. Diouf. Kewell. Finnan. Here's Smicer. Owen. No way through for Finnan. Kewell let it run. Gerrard. Michael Owen. Here's Smicer looking for Heskey in the middle. It's Parker back defending. Lisbie. Riise sticking really tight. Playing well at the moment, Lisbie.
Well, I've got to say, you know, as well as Liverpool have defended over the last 18 months or so, and they are renowned for good defensive discipline, this is the most unsettled I've ever seen them for a long, long time, while they've looked still pretty good going forward. I think Hyypia and Biscan in particular have been unsettled, certainly from the threat of Lisbie.
Smits has given it away. Liverpool have won 5 of their last 6 games against Charlton. They beat them 2-1 at Anfield at the end of last season after trailing 1-0 until the 86th minute. Sami Hyypia equalised. Steven Gerrard got a winner in stoppage time. Foul there by Powell on Kewell. Finnan aiming for Heskey, and Owen is already anticipating where the ball was going to drop, but it didn't go where he wanted it to. Luke Young's clearance picked off by Riise. Heskey dispossessed by Stuart, and Diouf has now momentarily switched to that left-hand side for Liverpool. A long 13 years now since Liverpool won the last of their record 18 titles. Still 3 championships ahead of Manchester United. Gerrard got that one all wrong. Hyypia's clearance. Finnan. Clever from Harry Kewell. Gerrard. It's a good ball for Owen. Nicked off him by Parker, who's having a flying game. Stuart. And it's one off him by Smicer. Now El Hadji for Liverpool.
That's the problem with El Hadji playing on the left-hand side. You know, when he does get it on his left, he's not as natural as he is on the right, and he's always going to be difficult to dig out across from that position.
Intriguing game for you on this channel from the Barclaycard Premiership next Sunday. We're on Teesside. for Middlesbrough against Chelsea. Our programme begins at 1:30. Jensen for Charlton. Lisbie almost turned inside Biscan and wins a corner.
His confidence has grown, hasn't it, since the goal. So it's nice and bright now. Fans are with him, which is important, and he's responded in style.
Well ahead on the corner count. Thumping header away by Gerrard has actually set up a counter-attack. Kewell. Riise is racing forward down the left-hand side. Kewell took a long time to make up his mind, but importantly kept possession. Here is Riise. Now Smicer. Gerrard. Kewell picks out Smicer this time. Finnan making progress down the right. Showed a little too much of the ball to Powell. Goal kick.
There's certainly been good opportunities for Liverpool in wide areas, in particular down this right-hand side. Finnan's been allowed to support the midfield and the attack whenever he's really chosen to, and I think that's because Charlton have looked to play narrow in midfield. They've realised that because of the shape of Liverpool, El Hadj, Diouf and Kewell do tuck in a lot. That allowed Smicer free to run off the midfield and join the front two, and Charlton have tried to keep it very tight in that area.
Harry's header has gone to Diouf. Gerrard has been superb, hasn't he, in this first half. The cross for Owen.
Well, that's the damage that Kewell can do on that left-hand side. He hasn't played out there for the last 10 or 15 minutes, but when he has the opportunity, you know he can deliver good quality. This time in the near post for that darting run from Michael Owen.
Good header by Finnan. Smicer has shaken off the challenge.
Well, again, getting into a promising position, hasn't he, Vladimir Smicer? He's got his goal already. And he's been a thorn in the Charlton side from the throw-in. Again, really, Charlton don't deal with him from that position.
Biscan. Jensen with the free kick. That's a good-looking one, and Liverpool were guilty of letting Bartlett escape all the marking.
That's a fabulous ball, isn't it, from Jensen, and really no one takes charge of the situation for Liverpool. That ball has travelled an awful long way, and you can see Hyypia there. Whether he's had a call from Dudek, I'm not quite sure, but this is a good opportunity again for Charlton.
Now Jensen delivers the corner. Bartlett got it well, so did Biscan, headed back in by Fish, and out by Heskey, and then back in by Bartlett again! He's done it again! Lisbie second, and Charlton from one down lead Liverpool by 2 goals to 1.
Well, it's party time at the Valley at the moment, and no wonder the fans are enjoying themselves. But again, you've got to say, they haven't dealt with a set piece, and Charlton keep the ball alive, and the initial strike's a good reaction save from Dudek, but he can't really stop the follow-up, and once again, 10 out of 10 for Kevin Lisbie's anticipation, certainly in the right area at the right time, and he converts it, comes to him quickly. The inclination is to get there and get the first touch. And having Liverpool control the game for the first 15 minutes, they could well be going in at half-time 2-1 down.
They've got a free kick now. The Charlton player's not happy about the award, and in fact it's not just going to be a free kick, it's obviously going to be a yellow card. Luke Young takes his punishment, and Liverpool have a free kick in a very dangerous position here, and an opportunity to hit straight back. But I think he's shown a second card there to Chris Perry.
Yeah, he's got to keep his averages up.
And obviously that's deemed to be unsporting behaviour, because the referee has moved the free kick forward 10 yards, which of course is entitled to do under the laws. Strangely enough, Liverpool might regard this as a more difficult position than the original one, because they can pile players right in front of the goal line now. Charlton.
Well, if you can thread a ball through all that, you've done very well. Look how many players are in there. The keeper can't particularly have a great sight of this, you know.
Can only assume that one yellow card for the challenge and the other, presumably, for dissent.
Yeah.
Could be teed up for Riise or Gerrard. It is Gerrard, and inevitably there was no way through that wall of players. Diouf. They're flying now, Charlton.
Well, they've got something to hang on to, haven't they? You know, and I think that the way the fans have responded as well, I think it's important that they can see this through till half-time, because that will be a massive psychological boost to them.
Foul by Diouf on Holland. What a transformation here at the Valley. 20-odd minutes gone, Liverpool leading 1-0, strolling through the game, metaphorically speaking. They're certainly not now.
Well, I asked the question at the time whether Charlton could respond. You know, psychologically, they really have struggled at home, and I thought, well, 1-0 down to Liverpool. What is going to be the reaction of those players? Well, they've reacted in the best possible style, and they really could be looking at their first victory for an awful long time.
And Liverpool have made another error, and here's Lisbie setting up Bartlett. Lisbie on a hat-trick now. Well, those two gave Liverpool a lot of problems when the teams met at Anfield last season. That game that I mentioned earlier, where Liverpool won in the last minute. Here's Kewell. That's short for Owen.
Yeah, there's another example there. At times when Liverpool have had good possession, there's only really Steven Gerrard in possession that's provided a threat. I think they've been very sloppy at times with some of the balls they've tried to thread through to the front too. You know, when you've got the ability that they have, Liverpool, it really should have put Charlton to the sword.
They haven't, and it's Charlton who go off to a standing ovation from the Valley at half-time. And they deserve it, and so does he in particular. Kevin Lisbie, with two opportunist goals, has punished Liverpool for some sloppy defending after Liverpool had taken the lead with a beautifully created and excellently finished goal. Harry Kewell finding Vladimir Smicer. At that stage, Liverpool were in control. At this stage, they're most certainly not. Charlton 2, Liverpool 1.
Yeah, some transformation and plenty for George to muse over after the break. Liverpool were strolling, as Alan said, and then Kevin Lisbie decided to silence the Blue Boys. 2 goals for him, Charlton on top, and perhaps on their way to their first home win of the season. Super Sunday comes from the City of Manchester Stadium. It's Manchester City against Tottenham Hotspur. Kick-off at 4:05 on Sky Sports 1. And tonight, La Liga, Atletico Madrid against Barcelona from 7:30, also on 1. Half-time at the Valley, and Charlton have come from behind to lead Liverpool by 2 goals to 1. Terrific fight back by Alan Kirbishley's side, with Rob Styles in charge. Anything's possible so far. Just the 2 yellow cards below par for Mr. Styles. Luke Young and Chris Perry, the men to have been cautioned. Strange performance by Liverpool, looking good going forward, but a bit of a shambles at the back, George.
Yeah, I mean, who would have expected it, Marcus? You know, Liverpool away from home, undefeated, they get a goal, and then they're in complete control. You know, and you think all of a sudden, you know, what's happened? Charlton then seemed to run out of confidence for about 10 minutes then. Then all of a sudden they got the break that they wanted. Bad mistake by Hyypia. But then once they got the equaliser, then they went on to get the, you know, the one leading. Fantastic.
Let's have a look at the goal that Liverpool scored. And that's a terrific through ball from Harry Kewell to Vladimir Smicer. But what's going on at the back, Charlton-wise?
Well, Chris Powell here, you don't see it in this shot, Marcus, but Chris Powell and Fish has completely changed positions. You'll see it in this one here. Look, Chris Powell's in the middle. Now they start losing one another.
So for some reason,
Matty Holland just let Smicer go. He should have been picking up initially.
For some reason, then Powell had been playing across the middle for a few moments. That's caused the confusion. There was a big gap between Holland and Perry and Fish as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, Matty Holland's let him go initially, but sometimes that happens. But then your back four should take care of it. But the back four are all over the place as well. And really, it's come from one pass, you know, in the Liverpool half, and it sort of like splits the defence. I mean, really, really poor defending.
Well, you've been saying that everyone's forgotten how to defend in this country at the moment, haven't they?
Well, it's a joy for the forwards, I can assure you of that.
Talking of joy for forwards, Kevin Lisbie having his problems with the Charlton supporters. I said to you beforehand, how does a player who's in trouble with his own fans respond? Well, of course, the best way is to score a couple of goals.
Fantastic, and isn't it nice to see? I mean, I don't like... This is a good finish. This is an excellent finish. I don't like to see players get some criticism from their own fans, but that does happen. And this is the only way, Marcus, to answer it.
And he had a little bit of time to think about that, which is often a problem for a striker, isn't it?
That's right, because, you know, if you're a young player, which he is young, he's he's not that experienced, the crowd are going on his back, you know, he took that with a lot of confidence.
And having got the confidence, he popped up with a second there. He has a fair bit to thank his strike partner, Sean Bartlett, for, doesn't he?
Does very well here. First of all, he jumps for the header. Then the ball comes out, then Sean Bartlett he jumps here for the header, then it comes out again, and he gets a free shot.
Yeah, they've left him alone badly, haven't they?
Bad marking at the set pieces in the penalty area there. But again, comes out to him here, Bartlett then gets a free shot, keeper makes a good save, and young Lisbie, first to sort of react, and sticks it home. Really, really pleased for the youngster.
And having got two, he would love a third to complete his hat-trick in the second half. Perhaps they're checking their programme notes to see if he's done that before. He hasn't. Second half is next. The Monday night game comes from the First Division. Tomorrow evening it's Walsall against Gillingham. That's from 8 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. Some other Premiership games taking place today. Blackburn against Fulham and Everton. Leeds kicking off round about now. And the Super Sunday game, Manchester City and Spurs, well, that starts at 4:05. 3 goals in our game so far. 2 for Charlton. And George, you'd rather expect more in the second half, wouldn't you?
I would think so, Marcus. I mean, with Michael Owen, you know, especially, you know, in form, I expect Liverpool to really go at them. And it all depends on how Charlton react. I mean, will they soak up the pressure and then maybe hit them again with another goal? You know, there's a lot of possibilities in the next 45 minutes.
What is the better tactic? Should you go for it and try and increase your lead, or protect in their case?
Well, I think they'll still challenge for the ball all over the pitch, that's for sure. I think they'll still press Liverpool. But Liverpool have got to go forward now, and that just may leave them a little bit exposed at the back.
Thanks, George. Let's rejoin Brian and Alan.
Kevin Lisbie within touching distance of the first senior hat-trick of his career. And, of course, they've still got the possibility of bringing on Paolo Di Canio from the bench. He was feeling unwell after yesterday's training session. That's why he never made the starting lineup, although in any case, Alan Kirbishley might just have gone with the front two he's picked today, because, as I mentioned earlier, in the match between these two teams at Anfield at the back end of last season, both of them had a good day against the Liverpool back four, and they're repeating that here today as Mr. Styles prepares to get the second half underway. Liverpool lost 2-0 here last season, but they had won on 7 of their previous 9 visits to the Valley, so it has been a happy Valley as far as they're concerned. But there's a lot to do now in the second half to turn it around and get the 3 points they need to move up to 4th in the table, a week ahead of the visit of Arsenal to Anfield next Saturday. Biscan wins the first header against Bartlett. Diouf back on the right-hand side, which is where he started the game. Finnan stabs it forward and away by Chris Powell, and then 2 Liverpool players going for the same ball. Biscan hurt himself making that tackle. had his critics, Igor Biscan, since he joined Liverpool, but the Croatian international has looked more comfortable in the middle of defence than in the middle of midfield. Diouf wins it back. Volleyed forward towards Owen and away by Perry, one of the two Charlton defenders yellow carded towards the end of the first half. Luke Young was the other, so those two have got to tread carefully. Diouf with the header. Heskey's layoff. Finnan. And now Gerrard. Smicer turning away from Holland, but the Charlton man sticking very tight. Diouf. Liverpool straight into their passing game again. Diouf's layoff to Finnan. Liverpool attacking the end where their supporters are gathered now. It's gone over Heskey's head. Kewell's there to win it back and cleared at the second attempt by Luke Young. Hyypia made sure that header was going to be his. Young. Here's Stuart. Back again to Luke Young. That's a fine ball. Lisbie. Bartlett ahead of him. Hyypia's interception, but it's gone to Parker and on to Jensen. Powell flying forward on the overlap. Jensen had other ideas, and Powell's long run was in vain. But Mark Fish is there to win it back. And again.
Well, very much similar to the first 45 minutes, the way that this second half has started, Alan, and that both sides looking to attack at every opportunity. The pace of the game, which was so evident in the first 45 minutes, very quick, very bright, very purposeful.
Diouf into Owen. And he's run Liverpool's first corner of the second half.
I imagine there'll be one or two strong words spoken in the Liverpool dressing room at half-time, because really they look to be in complete control after 20 minutes and took the foot off the gas, got a little bit sloppy, allowed Charlton to get in front.
Kewell curls it towards Hyypia, and Biscan was in there as well. Liverpool's throw. John Hewie will deliver long. Hyypia on the edge of the 6-yard box. But he was beaten to it by Luke Young. Riise to Smicer. Steven Gerrard. Not like him. Poor ball straight to Jensen. Now Stuart. It's Charlton's turn to counter-attack. But Stuart twists and turns into trouble. Diouf dispossessed him. Gerrard. Smacked that one against Scott Parker. That would have hurt. Gerrard again, this time picking out Harry Kewell. John Hewie. Lisbie managed to get in behind Finnan.
Well, he did well with it, the youngster again, just bored his side. A little bit of a respite. Liverpool coming out at half-time, trying to take the game to Charlton Athletic. And Lisbie just trying to take the ball away from the danger area. They need to protect this lead, Charlton.
Mark Fish hits one, hopefully, over the top.
Well, if you were in rugby, that would be kicking for touch. That's what it has done. It's going out for a throw-in, and it allows everybody in the Charlton colours to get another 15, 20 yards up the field.
Heskey wins the flick on to Owen. Away again by Fish. So Liverpool have made good progress, almost from their own corner flag to Charlton's. Finnan. Heskey was being held, I thought, and so did referee Styles. More significantly, it's a penalty.
I totally agree. You know, I think once you make contact with forwards in situations like that, now Heskey is a big fellow, we know that, and you know he's a difficult customer to deal with, but Chris Perry's all over him. And Heskey's just really leant in against him, and once you make contact like that, like we saw last week at Old Trafford, when Diego Forlan went down in the last minute from the challenge of Martin Keown, you know, you're always going to run the risk, and I just wonder whether it'll be even more punishment. Of course, Perry booked in the first 45 minutes. Will he get the red card?
5 red cards Mr. Styles has shown this season, and that's the 5th penalty he's awarded as well. Telling everyone not to encroach as Michael Owen steps up with a great chance to bring Liverpool level early in the second half. Two-two. 8 goals in 8 games for Michael Owen. His 4th successful spot kick of the season.
Well, really the form that he's been in, I really would have been amazed if he'd missed that. As cool as you like, sending the keeper the wrong way. Well, it really has put Liverpool right back into this football match. They would have been stung by the fact that they went 2-1 down just before half-time. And I wonder whether 1 or 2 harsh words would have been said in the Liverpool dressing room at half-time, and then they get the penalty. The tug by Chris Perry on Emil Heskey. He tried to wrestle him, and you just can't do that in situations like that.
Well, it wasn't very far from here just a few years ago when I saw Michael Owen make his first ever appearance in a Liverpool shirt against Wimbledon, his debut. And in 6 years, he's gone on to reach so many milestones, including one this week, of course, his 21st European goal, overtaking the legendary Ian Rush. And the way he's going to break so many records for club and country. That was his 147th goal for Liverpool in 267 games, and he's only 23. Gerrard's clearance, and it's Owen who pursues it. And wins it. Brilliant. Kewell's in the middle. I don't think he knew he was there.
No, he didn't, and that's a great shame. But once again, you know, Michael Owen showing a different side to his game. It's actually battling qualities. You know, you really wouldn't have expected when this ball went forward. You know, that's travelled an awful long way, and it's bounced, and you think, well, he's got 2 defenders there to deal with it. But he's shown great strength, great determination, and he's earned himself a chance there to strike on goal. All right, it's not a great finish, but I think that's certainly an aspect that he seems to have added to his game.
Bartlett. Foul there by Stuart on Kewell.
Well, there's certainly always big moments in football matches, and people will tell you there's certainly periods in games where you really don't want to concede goals, and that's exactly what's happened to Charlton. You know, that sort of 10 minutes just after half-time where they needed to just take the sting out of whatever Liverpool would throw at them after the interval. And unfortunately for them, they failed to do that.
Powell. Neat little flick on by Bartlett to his partner Lisbie, but Finnan intercepts cleverly and looks for a bit of help now. Frustration again for Alan Kirbishley. And Diouf wins it back. Heskey let it run, got the shout from Gerrard, who's got Kewell to his left, and Owen ahead of him, and Steven Gerrard keeps going. Almost got caught with too many alternatives.
Well, full marks to Sean Bartlett. He really did track a good 20-30 yards. Look how far he is behind Steven Gerrard there, but sheer determination and grit and character made sure they just made a latch-dit tackle, just did enough to put Gerrard off.
No good just being a front man these days. You've got to work hard as well, as Bartlett proved then. He was the one out-headed by Riise. Charlton's throw. Coming up to 10 minutes gone in the second half of what's been an excellent game at the Valley today. Bartlett, Young. Oh, brilliant. Nutmeg on Smicer. Stuart. Little deflection, which could have deceived Dudek. Now, did he carry the ball over the line? All the fans and the Charlton players believe he did, but the linesman doesn't agree. Stuart. Holland. Young. straight back into their rhythm, Charlton. Very resilient. Parker. And again. Jensen. Ambitious ball, and it made Chris Perry work hard. Parker, Jensen, good football. And that's a great ball, but offside. Lisbie blasted it wide anyway, but it wouldn't have counted if it had hit the net.
Well, it's bright play from Scott Parker. It's certainly bright play from Kevin Lisbie, and you've got to say, bright play from the back four of Liverpool. Absolutely spot on. I was a little bit critical with the way that they defended in the first 45 minutes, but that time they were together, which was important, and the line just did enough to force Lisbie offside.
Fish with a towering header to Stuart. Nothing on for Hyypia, that's what he's complaining about. Good ball in the end to Owen, and now Diouf got the pace to cause problems for Chris Powell. Good defending though by the England international. Lost his place actually to Herman Hyypia, but Hyypia's injured at the moment, so Powell back in the left back slot. Smicer for Liverpool. Kewell, Gerrard, Riise. Thunderous shot, which took a deflection off Young for a corner.
Well, we got a little bit closer really through the deflection of Luke Young, but at the moment Liverpool in full flow. Once again though, Steven Gerrard dictating matters from central midfield, pulling all the strings there for Liverpool.
Hyypia and Biscan together make the run. Hyypia's header!
Well, good set piece from Liverpool. Good delivery from Vladimir Smicer. Good run from Sami Hyypia. You can see there he just gets the edge, I think initially over Mark Fish, and really once he gets that touch, we're crying out for a Liverpool player just to anticipate in situations like that. Unfortunately, it falls between a couple of Liverpool players and the chance goes begging, but at the moment it's Liverpool that they're in the ascendancy.
Diouf, again using his pace. Far too easy for Dean Kiely. And a good kick by the Charlton keeper. Well defended by Finnan. Gerrard. Riise. Kewell screaming for the ball out on Liverpool's left flank. He's got other ideas and finds Vladimir Smicer. Oh, what a good tackle that was. Chris Perry with a superbly timed challenge.
Well, he's hurt himself, Smicer, I think. It's a fabulous tackle by Chris Perry. It really was, because he had to time that to perfection. That's exactly what he did.
The home fans are furious because the referee stopped play with Charlton on the attack to allow Smicer to have treatment.
Well, it may well be an element, you know, of the way that Chris Perry went into that challenge. Certainly was of a two-footed nature. Both feet were off the ground, but he did win the ball clearly, and that was the important aspect. But once again, Smicer finding room and time to burst forward from that central midfield area has been a real problem for Charlton to deal with. You know, he got the goal. And Chris Perry certainly over the last 10 minutes been involved in a number of incidents. And this was the first one. This is the penalty. Emil Heskey just holding him off, and he's grabbing Heskey back. And I think once you're then going to make contact, you run the risk of giving penalties away. That's as cool as you can get, Michael Owen. Let's hope that he remains in this type of form for the upcoming international, important, crucial qualifier against Turkey, because I think he's been outstanding this afternoon.
Mr. Styles, the subject of the abuse from the home fans. I must say I've got some sympathy with them. It wasn't a head injury, so I don't quite understand why he needed to stop play so quickly. Liverpool duly returned the ball, but Charlton have got it in their own 6-yard box when they actually had it in the Liverpool half. They're booing Smicer, but that is unfair. He was clearly hurt in the challenge, and it wasn't his fault that the official stopped play. Gerrard. Away by Fish. Only as far as Diouf. Owen's layoff was untidy. And well won back by Steven Gerrard, who's been immense in the middle of the field for Liverpool. Powell. Gerrard. It's gone straight to Stuart. Finnan's interception. Bartlett will keep chasing that one, and that's why Hyypia had to hook it clear only as far as Stuart. Diouf on hand to dispossess him. Here's Gerrard. Parker. And Jensen. Played some very good football today, the home side. Young sees the opportunity to keep going. Jensen's cross is dangerous. And Riise's clearance uncertain. Gerrard, Luke Young still there. And a crazy little double deflection ends up with a goal kick.
Well, they got lucky, Liverpool, aren't they? And the Charlton players just remonstrating with the referee once more. And I just wonder whether they thought if Luke Young went down here under the challenge from Steven Gerrard, if he'd gone down there, you know, I think the referee might have given a penalty.
Smicer. Now Biscan. Here's Finnan. Kept his eyes on the ball all the way there, Luke Young. Found himself in very unfamiliar territory a moment ago. He's never scored a goal in club football. Strangely enough, he has for the England under-21 team. Smicer still being blamed by the Charlton fans for that earlier incident. Here's Kewell, and Heskey held it up brilliantly. Harry Kewell! Great save by Kiely!
Oh, it's a beautiful move, isn't it, from Liverpool? And it's a fantastic save from the Charlton goalkeeper, Kiely.
Kewell denied what would have been his 3rd goal in the last 4 Premiership games for Liverpool. Here he is on the ball again. Gerrard having to go backwards to Finnan. That's a tasty looking ball. It was headed away on the edge of his own box by Bartlett. Young. Jensen on the chase with Biscan. Oh, good defending. Oh, Dudek got lucky. Terrific flow to this game again, as Gerrard looks to pick out Michael Owen. Well defended by Perry. Young. Lisbie. Luke Young again. Holland. Jensen. Powell joins the attack. Stuart to his left. Parker. And Liverpool win it back, and here's danger for Charlton. Diouf, only Owen further forward for Liverpool at the moment. Now Heskey and indeed Kewell joining the attack. As Kewell takes on Fish. And sets it up for Smicer again. Deflected for a corner.
Oh, good luck. Well, what a fantastic game. It really is end-to-end stuff, and full credit, you know, to Charlton. They really have responded well from that Liverpool equaliser. It's a fabulous save from Kiely moments earlier, but have a little look at the give and go by Harry Kewell. Good hold-up play, and there's almost a disguise there on Harry Kewell. He shapes to bend it in one corner, goes the other way. Fantastic save.
Gerrard. Lisbie all the way back near his own corner flag defending. That's a great ball in. Jensen. And a chance here for Parker to lead the counter-attack. Stuart. And ahead of him as ever is Lisbie. Now then, interesting challenge. Well,
Steve Finnan is a very, very lucky man here, I think, because he really does get caught out of position. It's a swift break from Charlton. It's a good spot from Graham Stuart. But just have a look at Lisbie. Gets in behind Finnan. Was there an element of holding the Charlton player back? The referee is right on the spot here. He gets himself into a good position. Perhaps also an element of handball. It's a poor finish in the end for young Lisbie. But still Charlton capable of causing problems.
This game very much in the balance. Finnan. Kewell. Crowd wanted a free kick. They're not going to get it. Riise. That's poor.
Well, there's certainly been some appeals for penalties, and what seems an awful long time ago that we saw Steven Gerrard making a challenge on Luke Young in the box, and he certainly run the danger of perhaps giving Charlton a penalty back for them, because I just wonder whether Luke Young, maybe if he'd gone over in the area when contact was made from Steven Gerrard, and as Steven Gerrard looks to clear, deliberating, he can see there, and if Luke Young went to ground there, I think the referee would have given that.
Vladimir Smicer, obviously still feeling the injury from that earlier tackle, because he's been substituted now, and on in his place Danny Murphy, who went off after only 15 minutes in Slovenia with a dead leg. Bartlett going in strongly. Away by Riise. Finnan. Heskey got up well. Michael Owen hustled out of it in the end by Parker. Now Powell. Great header away by Hyypia. Parker's there to pick up the pieces in midfield. And then a poor ball by Stuart.
Well, it really is finally balanced, this football match, isn't it? Because both sides have looked threatening going forward, both sides have looked vulnerable defending. Well, I think full credit to Charlton. Perhaps if they'd had a little bit more luck in the final third, then they may well have seen themselves ahead in this football match. But because both sides have looked a little bit edgy and nervous defensively, then there's going to be further chances. You've got to think that we haven't seen the end of the goals.
Jensen, the crowd warning him the challenge was coming, and he heeded that warning. Bartlett. He's made life difficult for himself here. Holland, there was nowhere to go, but he still found a way through. Luke Young, straight back in again. Away by Biscan. Stuart, beaten to it by Gerrard. Murphy, who scored in a 4-0 Liverpool victory here a couple of years ago. Diouf. Oh, that's a great ball. Harry Kewell. Owen comes to meet it, near post. Heskey far post, so is Diouf. And so was Mark Fish.
Well, I wonder how close that was to perhaps a second penalty for Liverpool. The way that Luke Young took a dive in on the challenge on Harry Kewell, he was very fortunate.
Riise looking for Heskey, and it was Fish who got there first again. Murphy to Gerrard. Sami Hyypia for Liverpool. Clever skills by the big man. Heskey. And Jensen wins it back. Here's Lisbie. Oh, that's good play. Jensen. Stuart. Great tackle by Steven Gerrard, and again, brilliant stuff. And Riise's clearance could be a danger at the other end. Michael Owen. Was he wrestled to the ground by Perry? The referees decided no.
I tell you what, Phil Thompson is furious. He's out of the box. He's absolutely giving the referee's assistant on that far side dog's abuse.
Now Liverpool will get a free kick, but not where they wanted it.
But again, you know, fantastic strength and ability from Michael Owen to see off the challenge from Chris Perry. You just see there leaning into the Charlton defender. Then when he gets to the other side, has he pulled him to the ground? Not convincing enough for me.
As you can see, Kishishev has just come on for Stuart. The Bulgarian international was first choice in that right midfield position earlier in the season. His first job is to defend this Liverpool free kick. Oof. Straight at Kiely, but he had to be on his toes, the goalkeeper. And a good throw out to Parker. Kishishev fails to get his first touch as Liverpool win it back with Emil Heskey getting in behind Powell. Owen inevitably is in the centre. Another good save by Kiely. Kewell. Here's Murphy for Liverpool. And Kiely there again. He's one short of the 500th league game in his career, Dean Kiely. It's a career that's taken him the lower reaches with the likes of York and Bury, all the way to the World Cup finals with the Republic of Ireland. And in the second half, he has made 2 or 3 splendid stops. Parker. Bartlett made some kind of contact. Just to confirm, incidentally, that Murphy replaced Smicer for Liverpool, with the latter going off with a knee problem. Riise. Here's Owen. Harry Kewell. Diouf wants it out on the right. Finnan has gone forward on the overlap. Into Heskey. Finnan. Good looking ball for Murphy! Well, he scored some wonderful goals down the years. Not too many with his head, though.
Well, really, Vladimir Smicer was doing this for the best part of 60 minutes, and Danny Murphy's come on the field, and he's the one now breaking forward from midfield. And you'd have thought that Charlton would have learned their lesson from the amount of chances that Smicer had created, and certainly he got his goal from that. And they're going to have to be very watchful now, because Danny Murphy's making the same sort of runs from that position.
Mark Fish has a problem. He's feeling the outside of his knee there. Fish, who's now played over 200 games in English football for Bolton and Charlton.
He must be very proud of his side here this afternoon, Alan Kirbishley. They've worked extremely hard. They've played a lot of quality out there, and I think that perhaps a little bit more guile and craft in the final third may well have seen them get more goals. I mean, they've got the 2, but they've certainly unsettled this Liverpool back 4, and it's a Liverpool back 4 that defensively have been outstanding over the past couple of years.
It looks as though Fish might have to go off permanently here. They've got the ideal replacement on the bench in the young defender Jonathan Fortune, who has figured in most games this season prior to today, and was, by the manager's admission, a little unlucky to be left out as Chris Perry came in to partner Fish in the starting lineup. Quick, strong, good in the air. Jonathan Fortune will slot in there perfectly. Heskey to Gerrard. Early test for Perry up against Owen, and he was equal to it. Kewell. Gerrard. Murphy. Back again to Gerrard. I think he just run out of steam by the time he reached the ball. 15 minutes to go at the Valley. This game, which has been so entertaining, is still anyone's. Next week, we're on Teesside. Middlesbrough against Chelsea. Our programme begins at 1:30. Oh, great flick on by Bartlett, and it almost reached Lisbie. Clearance by Riise. Corner.
Well, again, the front two combining to be a threat. It's the good aerial prowess of Sean Bartlett, then the bright, sharp play of Kevin Lisbie that nearly got Charlton in again. I lost count the amount of corners that they've had. They certainly had a lot more than the visitors.
Jonathan Fortune, a new threat for Liverpool here, and it's gone in towards him, in fact, although the header in the end was by one of the smaller players in the penalty box, Kevin Lisbie. And Sammy Hyypia's pulled up with a bit of an injury problem for Liverpool.
I think Lisbie just caught his foot as he fell to the ground. Really strong, brave, isn't he? Sammy Hyypia will need a little bit more than that to keep him out of his game now.
Kewell gets the flick onto Owen. One back by Young. Parker. Lisbie. Lively and inventive throughout. Powell. It's a decent ball into Bartlett, and here's Lisbie. Oh, Riise just denied him a sight of his hat-trick and glory.
Well, 2 occasions in the space of a minute. Very nearly seen Kevin Lisbie get on the end of a couple of flick-ons from Sean Bartlett.
And Bartlett getting forward again. Knocks it down once more for Lisbie. Holland. Parker. Kishishev with a good ball to Powell. Away by Biscan, and it's suddenly Charlton's turn to apply the pressure. Kishishev. Oh, spectacular.
Oh, just having another little spell, aren't they, Charlton, where they seem to be getting stronger and stronger as the game is going into the final 10 minutes. And it's Lisbie again who looks to be getting on the end of those little flick-ons. Deft header, wasn't it, by Bartlett? Trying to thread Lisbie through, and Lisbie, who has been a handful for this Liverpool back four right through the course of the afternoon.
Michael Owen. It's a foul by Luke Gunn. Into the final 12 minutes. Will we see a winner? Steven Gerrard waving players forward. Sammy Hyypia and Igor Biscan just arriving, edge of the box. Powell under a bit of pressure here from Diouf. And I think Diouf must have pulled his shirt and should keep his words to himself, because linesmen have been very busy this season pointing out dissent, and because of that, El Hadj Diouf has got himself a yellow card.
Well, initially when I saw it, I didn't see an awful lot wrong there. Yeah, there's, you know, both players are at it. How do you work out which one is the culprit there?
And because of that again, the free kick is marched forward. Not that it will make a great deal of difference there.
Just for good measure now, he's having a word with the manager at the Liverpool bench. He loves it, doesn't he? Loves it.
No comment. Biscan won a header. Powell looking for Bartlett. It's gone over his head though, straight to Biscan. Heskey's flick on, and it comes back to him. Holland flattened him as he won the ball back, but Liverpool have possession with Diouf. That's a foul. And the ball was kicked away. That's a foolish thing to do, because with Mr. Styles, that almost certainly will lead to punishment. Oh no.
Well, on this occasion, see, he got the man all wrong. He very misunderstood Mr. Styles.
Kewell. And Murphy's done well to get away from his man. It was a snapshot, thinking he might catch out Kiely. Liverpool seem ready to make another change. The 18-year-old Frenchman, Anthony Tallec, who made his first start in Slovenia in midweek. Just getting his last-minute instructions from Phil Thompson and Gerrard, an attacking midfielder who Liverpool will be hoping can swing the game in their favour in the last 10 minutes here. Maybe Harry Kewell will do that job for them. Great ball in, and Kiely again with an important save.
Deserved to finish that. Wonderful touch, great run, and a fabulous cross. Unfortunately, though, for Liverpool, no one on the end of it.
Well, no question of either of these sides settling for a draw, that's for sure. An excellent entertainment. Powell, Kishishev. Looking for Bartlett, who took it brilliantly and sets it up for, well, a man who hardly ever troubles the scorers. He's only scored 2 goals, Chris Powell, in his entire career. And ironically, they both came against the team he used to support as a boy, Tottenham.
I wasn't sure where he was, did he? Chris Powell, and but again, good hold-up play by Sean Bartlett.
And Powell's given it away to Heskey. Diouf. Kewell wants the ball in the middle. Ooh, that was an important clearance. He still reached Kewell. And now Murphy. Oh, great block by Fortune. Gerrard. Kewell. Too close to the keeper, obviously.
Just look how open this football match is. It's incredible, isn't it? One moment Liverpool attacking, the next moment Charlton are at their throats.
And here they go with Lisbie. What a run! Oh, what a goal! What a hat-trick! What a moment at the Valley! You won't see a better one than that.
Well, I said it was an open game. One moment Liverpool were attacking, and the next minute Charlton may well have got the winner. And how fitting and deserving it may well have gone to Kevin Lisbie. I'm not sure the time, and I'm sure we'll get that in a moment, from Dean Kiely's throw out to Lisbie and when it ends the back of the net. But that is absolutely top draw finish. He really does, because not only does he beat his man, he has the ability and the composure to have a little look at where the goalkeeper is, and the execution of the finish is magnificent. And I don't think the goalkeeper really sees this at all, because it's right behind Hyypia. And we talk coming in this game about, well, would the confidence be low with Kevin Lisbie? Well, his first senior hat-trick, he won't get any more confident at the moment, will he?
Well, every one of those fans who've been booing him here this season should write a personal letter of apology, because he has been absolutely outstanding today. And he might just have scored the goal that beats Liverpool. Urgency now for Liverpool is the key word. Riise. Hyypia. Kewell. Emil Heskey holds it up and finds Danny Murphy. Still Danny Murphy. In it goes from Tallec. Bartlett got there ahead of Hyypia. Lisbie, who can do nothing wrong at the moment.
Well, he's guaranteed himself legendary status, hasn't he, Kevin Lisbie, with a hat-trick against Liverpool. Fantastic. Really delighted for the youngster. He has had a tough time. He'd be the first to admit that maybe he hasn't delivered that early promise that we knew that he had. But, well, will this be the launching pad for his career? Can he go on from here? Well, he really will have taken so much. He scored 3 goals against the side like Liverpool. Absolutely phenomenal.
And they didn't need Paolo Di Canio. Although it's not over yet. Young. Oh, I thought Riise then deliberately stood across Young. Surely that should have been a free kick. Anyway, it isn't. Into the last 5 minutes. And Liverpool's hopes of a fourth successive Premiership win looking in tatters at the moment as Kewell brings down Jensen. What a day he's had. A day he'll never forget. The noise quite special now at the Valley. He's there again, Lisbie. Clearance by Riise. Owen beaten to it by Chris Perry. Liverpool have to take chances now and commit more men upfield. Gerrard with Tallec. Leaves it to Finnan. Steven Gerrard, it's taken a deflection. Heskey with Tallec. Good clearance by Perry. Anywhere will do now for Charlton. Hyypia. Here's Biscan. Even the centre halves getting into the Charlton territory now. Hyypia's header finds Heskey. Furious final assaults from Liverpool. Can they find the equaliser though? Kewell. Biscan. And here's Gerrard. Charlton with all 11 players back in their own half now. The angled ball in towards Michael Owen, who held it up brilliantly. With Tallec battling for it. It's like a cup-tie finish here now. And suddenly it's Jensen breaking for Charlton. And Lisbie, who else is with him, brought down by Biscan.
Well, they'll just buy some time, won't it? But you've got to say Liverpool have defended poorly here. You've got to go back to last season, really, when the last time they conceded 3 goals in a match, and that was against Man United, and that's when they had Hyypia sent off. They really have been at 6s and 7s here today, but young Kevin Lisbie has run amok. 9 attempts, which is incredible. 1 player, never mind the whole team. 9 attempts, 4 on target, 3 goals. Magnificent performance by the youngster.
And yet again, proof of the democracy that exists, if you like, in the English Premiership, where any team can beat any other on any given day. Charlton hold it up cleverly, and Jensen has made progress. Hyypia's got to prevent the corner, which he did in splendid style. Biscan. Fortune comes to meet it. Kishishev keeping it in play. He might regret that. Good ball by Danny Murphy to Riise. Murphy. Finnan steaming up on the right. We're into the final minute at the Valley. In it goes towards Heskey on the far post. Fortune got it away. Then Holland, only as far as Riise. Good block by Holland. Powell's clearance. And Lisbie almost got away again. It was Gerrard splendidly who came back, but the free kick has gone against the Charlton man.
Well, it's like you said, it's like a cup tie. It's absolutely incredible out there at the moment. Oh.
Heskey's header dropped invitingly. Kewell was slow to react.
That's poor defending, really, on Charlton's part. You know, Emil Heskey having a free header there. He ought to have done better with it.
Great header away by Bartlett. And then Jensen clears the danger as we move towards stoppage time at the Valley. Gerrard, splendid ball. Finnan wins their header, and a bit of confusion before Perry got it half clear. Back in again. Heskey's there, so too is Bartlett. Tremendous finale here. And Danny Murphy's given it away to Powell. 3 minutes is all Charlton have to hold on for. I say all. It probably seems like 3 hours to some of their fans at the moment. It'll seem like 3 seconds, though, to Liverpool supporters. Sami Hyypia. This is Riise for Liverpool. Gerrard. Wonderful ball outside of the foot to Finnan. Biscan's joined the attack. In it goes towards Heskey. Cleared only as far as Riise. Kewell. This is Murphy. Oh, it's a poor ball by Tallec, and it's given Parker the chance to keep possession here. Not long enough, though. Tallec again. That's a great ball. And he was clattered as he played it away there by Kishishev.
Well, it's a wild challenge, isn't it, from Kishishev? It really is, but now it's the kitchen sink time, isn't it? Throw everything forward. The only thing, the big surprise is, why is Jerzy Dudek not coming for it?
We're not in the last minute yet. Riise delivers the free kick, and not too successfully. Kishishev, Parker. That's a clever, sensible thing to do. And as much to break up things as anything else, Charlton are going to make a late substitution. Well, he deserves the standing ovation he's about to get. Kevin Lisbie goes off to a hero's welcome. Even Powell gives him an all-too-friendly slap on the backside. Johansson on in his place. Kewell for Liverpool. They haven't finished yet. A brilliant play by Kewell. Can he finish? Oh, outside of the post.
Oh, well, we've had everything, haven't we, in this football match? We really have, and what a fantastic finale that would have been. Wonderful skill from Kewell. Gets him into a shooting position. Really hasn't got any sort of angle to hit. And he unleashes a wicked left foot, beats the goalkeeper, but can't beat the post.
And it looks as though Liverpool aren't going to beat Charlton. It's all down to Mr. Styles now. How long we have left. And there's the answer. Kevin Lisbie's first hat-trick of his senior career has produced a memorable win for Charlton Athletic. And Liverpool have lost at the Valley. The happy Valley, as far as these home fans are concerned today. And there's no happier man in the ground than the young Jamaican international, who deserves every moment of glory that he's getting now. He's had his critics here this season. He's gone off the field before to the sound of boos. He went off today just before the final whistle to the sound of a standing ovation, which will still ring in his ears as he disappears down the tunnel. Liverpool have paid the price for some sloppy defending. Kevin Lisbie gets a handshake from Alan Kiely for some wonderful finishing. His third goal in particular, one of the strikes of the season. Wonderfully entertaining match. A big setback, though, for Liverpool a week ahead of the visit of Arsenal to Anfield. A glum-faced Gerrard won't enjoy the journey home. They will. Charlton Athletic 3, Liverpool 2.
What a way to record your first home win of the season, and what a way to silence the critics. George's thoughts after the break. It's Kevin Lisbie's day, his first senior hat-trick. And what a way to complete it. Running the length of the field, only had to deal with one challenge, and then the most delightful finish. No wonder he's smiling. Welcome back to the Valley, which is a very happy place after a thrilling game of football. Liverpool began it well. Vladimir Smicer putting them in front, but then stepped forward Kevin Lisbie. First of the afternoon for him. This was the second, shortly before half-time. Liverpool also began the second half well. Penalty, perhaps a controversial one. Perry tangling with Heskey. Michael Owen did what he does best. And then that wonderful finish. It's a wrap-up victory for the home side. Never shall he be booed again. At least not until next weekend. Plenty of attempts on goal for both sides. On those stats, Liverpool may feel aggrieved not to come away with at least a point. 4 bookings in the end. There was a question mark about Kishishev's caution in the second half. It stands, along with Luke Young's and Chris Perry's. El Hadj Diouf saw yellow for the Reds. Some other games taking place in the Premiership today. Latest scores: Ewood Park, Blackburn 0, Fulham 1, Lewis Morty after 5 minutes. And Everton 3, Leeds 0, 2 goals for Steve Watson. Duncan Ferguson on target again. Both those games have reached the halfway point. Manchester City and Spurs kick off in around about 5 minutes from now. That's the Super Sunday game. So the table's going to change again. For now, though, Arsenal and Chelsea, Manchester United, it's unchanged, basically. Up top, Liverpool still 7th. They would have gone 4th temporarily, at least, had they won. Don't forget they've got Arsenal next week at home. At the bottom, Charlton move up from 14th to 11th, thanks to that 3-point haul. They've now got 8 from their first 7 games. Well, everybody's going to want to hear from Kevin Lisbie. He is the man of the match, and he is now talking with our reporter, Guy Havord.
Kevin, you've been at the club since you were 14 years of age. This has got to be the greatest game so far for you.
Yeah, well, it's my first hat-trick in the first team, so it's always good to be scoring, but to score a hat-trick against Liverpool of all teams is even better for me.
You've had a bit of stick recently as well. They were all cheering at the end for you.
Yeah, it turns quickly sometimes. Beginning of the season, first 8 minutes, I got booed off, but it's the only way to respond, I feel.
How difficult is it to go out there if the fans are, some of them, not on your side?
Well, at first it was difficult because I've been, as you say, since I was 14, so it was a bit difficult. I thought I'd end my career, who knows, but it was a bit difficult for me with the fans getting on top of me, but I suppose they only want the best out of me as well.
3 wonderful goals. The first one seemed to lift the whole mood of the place because Liverpool seemed to be on top at the time.
Yeah, well, as you say, when Liverpool get ahead, normally it's hard to break them down, so we were just happy to get that goal when it came.
The best goal of the 3, surely the winner.
Yeah, well, we've been practicing those ones all week. It's always good to score, but to score a hat-trick and like that is wonderful.
What have you been practicing, the quick throw-out?
No, just been cutting inside and trying to put them in the far corners. Eventually it looked like it worked.
You kind of scored many better goals than that.
No, I think that's my best of all, apart from the Ipswich when I scored my first senior goal, but can't top that one, I don't think.
And of course, it's the first win for Charlton at home this season in the Premiership.
Yeah, I think it was important to get a win, especially in front of the cameras. I think that brings us to 8 points now, and we just want to carry on from there now.
Your confidence must be sky high?
Yeah, it should be. We'll see to the next game.
Now, you've got the match ball there. Make room for some champagne as well. You've got the Barclay card, man of the match. Well done, Kevin Lisbie.
Cheers, thanks a lot. Cheers.
Well, practice makes perfect. That was a wonderful goal and a wonderful display from a man under pressure.
Yeah, I think, first of all, a wonderful display by Charlton, but a dream result. I mean, the result was all important today, Marcus. And it just shows you, we're a wonderful manager at a small club, a lot of average players, well organised. This is what the Premiership's all about. Small teams taking on the big boys and getting the dream result. And there were some wonderful performances today. Apart from Lisbie, young Scott Parker in midfield, I thought was outstanding. I think the goalkeeper, Kiely, made important saves at the right point in the game. When it looked as if Liverpool, if they'd have scored then, I think they may have went on and won. But a fantastic performance, and the winning goal has got to be one of the goals of the season up to now.
Liverpool contributed to what was a terrific game in general, but defensively, they look to be in trouble.
You don't expect that from Liverpool, do you? You expect once they get one up, then they'll just sort of like keep it nice and tight, maybe wait for Michael Owen scoring another goal for them. But it wasn't the Liverpool of old.
They made a very good start, although perhaps the goal itself, the first goal, was too easy for them.
Yeah, a great ball from Kewell. He saw Smicer making a terrific run. Charlton here were all over the place. Look at this. I mean,
defenders swapping positions.
Yeah, the left back and Powell and Fish swapping positions. The right back pushed far too up. Chris Powell was, I think, trying to take up Michael Owen. They were all over the place here, but a great finish.
Very good finish.
Yeah, good vision by Harry Kewell, good finish by Smicer. But if you were a Charlton manager, you'd be thinking, where's my back four,
Kevin Lisbie came to the party, though. As he admitted there, it's been a very difficult time for him. but he managed to put all that to one side. As we said at half-time, OK, it's a mistake that gives him the opportunity initially, but he has time to think about what he has to do, and he does it.
First of all, it was a bad clearance from Hyypia. You know, I think Riise has pushed on here. You know, otherwise, you know, he could have given a bit more cover. And there was a little gap there. And look at young Lisbie, you know, no confidence. You know, the crowd getting onto him, but he finishes like that. Wonderful finish.
Do you realise or understand why Liverpool was struggling so much at the back today? A slight shift in personnel, perhaps?
No, not really. I mean, I think they're really missing Haman, you know, who actually sits in front of the back four and just picks up all the dangerous balls. Although Gerrard played well today, I thought, you know, he still likes getting forward and getting involved with the midfield player. Haman normally just sits and protects the back four, and that's what they needed today. When they were 1-0 up, Liverpool of the last 2-3 years would say, right, if we get more goals, we get more goals, but we're not going to concede.
They went behind just before half-time. Sean Bartlett, who was playing up front with Lisbie today, played his part in this goal, didn't he?
Yeah, challenged very well in the air there, then he just drops off. There's a free shot. Keeper makes a good save, actually, and Lisbie's the first to react. I mean, good challenge here by Bartlett. And he just drops off. Nobody drops off with him. Free shot, good save, reaction save, and Lisbie just picks up the bits and pieces, Marcus.
Do you criticise Emil Heskey for his headed clearance, which isn't the most powerful?
I think he does well there. I just think the marking, whoever was marking Sean Bartlett, just let him drop deep and get a free shot on goal. I thought Heskey did quite well getting the header away, but unfortunately, Emil, for me, you know, is not involved enough. I think he had one shot in the whole match, and again, too much reliance on Mike alone.
Gerrard Houllier no doubt had a few things to say at half-time, and Liverpool responded positively, winning the penalty 5 minutes or so after the restart. Well, Chris Perry wasn't happy.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I think that's a penalty. Chris has got to accept sometimes, you know, when he just sit off a player.
Heskey's using his arm, though, and his strength as well, isn't he?
Footballers will do that. I mean, you just need to look at somebody like as good as Alan Shearer, who's absolutely brilliant, Marcus, at backing into defenders. And defenders have got to get wisen up. They can't win every ball. Chris shouldn't have wrestled him here. And this is when I thought Kiely, after the second goal, it was 2-2, I thought Kiely then made some very, very important saves.
But with the penalty decision, you wouldn't say it was 6 of one and half a dozen of the other?
No, I think it was a penalty. Chris wrestled him. You watch, he's got a grip of his shirt, grabs him, turns him away and all that. Yeah, I think it was a penalty.
Michael Owen, joint top Premiership scorer, having put that one away. 8 in 8 in all competitions this season. Might have been a penalty at the other end. Luke Young certainly thought he should have been awarded one here.
Yeah, Gerrard's here, very relaxed here. He looks as if he's just going to clear it. Luke Young gets in front of him there. He was very fortunate. If Luke Young had been down, I thought he'd have got a penalty there.
Well, it was a big kick, wasn't it?
But it just shows you, Marcus, you know, the domestic players do stay on their feet. They don't dive.
And sometimes they pay the penalty for being like that.
Yeah, but come on, we don't want to encourage people just to go down at any hint of contact. We want to stay on their feet, and full credit to Luke Young.
Would you really want that if you were his manager, or would you want him to win a penalty by hook or by crook?
No, I wouldn't. I would say no. I wouldn't advocate that sort of philosophy on players. Otherwise, we're never going to stop talking about people diving. We've got to try to eradicate that from the game.
Didn't matter in the end because Kevin Lisbie's practice sessions throughout the week led to this wonderful winning goal.
I mean, look where he's thrown the ball. It must be, what, 80 yards from goal. There doesn't look any danger here. Just starts running with the ball, takes on Finnan, keeps going. Jensen made a great run, by the way. He made a great run and took Sammy Hyypia. Have a look here. Picks up the ball here, so deep in his own half. And you'll see Jensen starting from the midfield. He runs, Hyypia goes with him, and then he comes inside. Hyypia doesn't close down well enough.
Irrespective of the run, though, George, shouldn't Lisbie have come under much more pressure, considering the amount of distance he's made
They
up?
should definitely close down. But you've got to admire, that boy's run 80 yards with the ball and then had the technique and the skill to just bend it. He didn't hit it with a lot of power. He just curled the ball, you know, into inside the far post. Tremendous goal.
Be interesting to see how long the Charlton fans hold him in great esteem. Now, you know how fickle supporters can be.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be nice, you know, if this sort of was the start of him scoring goals, and he looks as if he enjoys the game, puts a lot of hard work, and we saw him chatting there. You know, it's nice to see some good guys, you know, get some publicity.
Almost wasn't enough, because in the very last minute, while Powell de Canio was slapping Lisbie on the backside after he'd been substituted, Harry Kewell broke forward and very nearly grabbed the point for Liverpool.
This is what Harry's all about. He's got this wonderful technique, wonderful ability. I just wish they would produce it more. He's got it. He's got it to be a match winner, you know, not week in, week out, but more regularly. And I just wish they'd display that sort of ability, you know, which is world class at times. Just got to do it a bit more often.
Terrific game of football. We hope to have the reactions of both managers after the break. Relief for Alan Curbishley, a home win at last for his side. Gerrard's expression does say it all. The Super Sunday game is underway at the City of Manchester Stadium. City and Spurs right now on Sky Sports 1. They've been playing for about 8 minutes. It's still 0-0. Tonight from La Liga, Atletico Madrid take on Barcelona. That's from 7:30 on Sky Sports 1. And tomorrow, from the First Division, it's Walsall and Gillingham. 8 o'clock start, also on Sky Sports 1. 3-2 victory for Charlton against Liverpool at the Valley, and Alan Curbishley is waiting to have a word with us. First home win of the season. Alan, how much did you enjoy that?
Well, I don't know about you two sitting in the studio, but I thought it was a good game, end-to-end stuff, and quite a few chances for both teams, but I'm really pleased we've come out on top.
Personal triumph for Kevin Lisbie, who's been having 1 or 2 problems with the supporters, apparently.
Well, he has, because obviously, you know, Kevin, we got a lot of time for Kevin, but he hasn't got the goals he's played deserves, and you know, they're looking for a scapegoat every now and then, aren't they, fans? We're not doing as well as we should be doing, and you know, I've got a few names around, you know, Powell, and we brought Carlton Carl in. So, you know, if we're not doing well, they want to pick on someone, which is not like our fans, and they picked on him last week, and you know, he scored one and made one. So, well, I just hope that makes him that little bit more determined to do well.
Presumably they were a little frustrated as well by your home form. You'd lost 6 out of 8 going into today's game. How concerned have you been with your performances at the Valley?
Only this year I've been concerned. You know, last year was last year, and as I said earlier, we had so many problems last year. I was playing Luke Young at centre-back, Kishishev at right-back, and Lisbie right-wing near the end, and you know, we had all the centre-halves out injured. So I wasn't. Last year was last year. I'm not too concerned about that. This year it was a very similar start to, you know, the season we had last year. We had tough home games. We've got Arsenal coming up next. You know, George will tell you, you know, there's a clump of fixtures that come along, and we didn't win any of our first 2 games, so this has put us under pressure here. But I would say it's a long season, and you know, I've not got carried away about it.
Alan, George here. Young Lisbie scored a hat-trick, man of the match. I was very impressed with Scott Parker. I mean, how good can he be? He's still only 22 years of age.
Well, I just think he's got most things in his locker, George, and the thing that's lacking for him at the moment is scoring a goal. But I know he can do that. But the way we're using him, you know, with Klaus Jensen in there as well, that we've had to make him be a little bit more defensive. But he's got most things in his locker to become a really good player. And you know, there was a lot of speculation about him in the summer, and basically I said to him, you know, you need to iron out 1 or 2 faults here, you know, and if that's the case, then you'll go on and do anything you want. Move off now into a bigger club. You might not be given that opportunity to have a couple of bad games, but you know, Sven was here, I think. Well, I certainly saw a tall grip, and you know, I think it's about time he got called into a squad. You know, we don't talk our players up enough, but you know, I think he should be in the next squad.
And Alan, what's your target for this season? What would you be fairly satisfied with?
I've said all along, George, it's our 4th year in, and I think it's one of the most dangerous years to be, because people get complacent. They think that, you know, you're established Premiership side. But I have said all along, mid-table and a bit of a cup run, that would be us. And I saw your comments before the game, and it is an expectation level. But I've got to get away from perhaps staying up at this club. And you know, I have said this season, if we can, you know, finish mid-table and have a bit of a cup run, that's great for us. You know, we we have done fantastically well, and you know, our expectation level should be about that.
By the way, Alan, I wasn't going to ask you about the Spurs job, but as George is here, you want to ask him any advice?
Well, you know, it's just speculation, as we said. I think that, you know, I've tended to deal with it. I think there's been a lot of speculation about me over the last 3 or 4 years, but I think I'm still here, aren't I? You know, that's the point. And I'm still the up-and-coming manager. So
you want to start worrying when they call you an old manager, don't you?
That's right, but you know, it makes the world go round, doesn't it?
And hopefully, from your point of view, this might perhaps spark the sort of run we saw from Charlton around about this time last year.
Yeah, you know, George will tell you confidence is a wonderful thing. They're really bubbly now. Even in midweek, because we won, they was really bubbly. And, you know, we should have got something up at Villa last weekend, didn't. So hopefully we can get something at Portsmouth. And, you know, before the international break, that will finish us in mid-table, which is not a bad situation to be in after your first 7 or 8 games.
Thanks for talking to us, Alan. Enjoy this evening. Something for him to celebrate. And they're a strange side, aren't they? Because every season people think, well, Charlton are going to get found out. I'm sure a lot of people thought after their poor start they'd really be struggling. But when you see a performance like that, you realise they have an awful lot to offer the Premiership.
Marcus, before the season starts every year, there's a third of the Premiership teams. Their main objective is to stay in the Premiership. They've got very, very little finance. You know, they hopefully have got good managers. They've got very, very honest players who, if they're well organised and you get great team spirit, there's a chance you're going to stay in the Premiership. Now, for me, Charlton are a lovely family club. Alan Kirbishley's done a superb job year in, year out, just keeping them in the Premiership. And as he says there, his ambition this year, halfway with a good cup run, something similar to Southampton did last year. I mean, these type of people in the game, they don't get enough credit for the job they're doing.
Well, Kevin Lisbie will get plenty of credit following his first senior hat-trick. Scott Parker, as you say, was outstanding, but it's all about putting the ball in the back of the net, and that's exactly what Lisbie has done today. Could have had more, of course. Yeah. Early on, after those 2 misses, the fans were probably starting just to get on his back again.
Well, I think as well Sean Bartlett does a good job, Marcus, for him. He's the aerial power, and he is mobile, so the two of them are probably working quite well together.
Another opportunity that perhaps he might have taken, then the mistake, and this time he did what he had to do.
Yeah, and he's nice and lively, very good pace, you know, for a youngster, and that's his pace there helped him get his first goal without question.
By the way, talking of hat-trick heroes, as we watch this excellent performance, I can tell you that Everton have now gone 4 up against Leeds, and Steve Watson has scored a hat-trick for them. So Kevin Lisbie is going to have to share the headlines tomorrow morning, but I doubt any of Watson's goals today have been as good as this one.
Yeah, a sensational goal. I mean, he should get the video for that game, Marcus, because I doubt very much if he'll ever score a goal as good as that again.
If he keeps practising, you never know. Let's hear from Gerrard Houllier. He's now talking with Guy.
Gerrard, are you still wondering how you got nothing out of that game?
Losing today is beyond me, really, because we scored a goal, we were in control of the game and made some silly mistakes. But we've just got to blame ourselves. I mean, we let ourselves down today. We got back into the second half with different intent, and I think we played well in the second half, created a lot of chances. It's just a shame that we didn't keep at least a draw.
You say you have to blame yourselves. Is that the defence?
No, we score together, I would say, and we defend together. And I think that because we have a style of play which puts us forward more than on the back foot, so obviously we defend as a team, and when we lose possession, somebody doesn't do the job, then we can be in trouble. But so I wouldn't blame one in particular. I think as a team we could have done better in terms of defending, and we'll draw the lesson from that. But I think we owe ourselves, we owe the fans a better result. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think at times we played very well, created a lot of chances. Even after their third goal, we had a good chance when Harry hit the post. We were a bit unlucky in the finish, particularly in the second half, and because it was a great game of football. But you've got to give credit to them, and they believed right to the end that they could do it.
Next game, big game for you, is Arsenal next weekend. It's a big test, isn't it? Particularly as we don't often see Liverpool teams concede 3 goals.
It's a big test because, I mean, we're some points behind them now. So it'll be a make or break it practically sort of game. But the boys know that they have to respond to what happened today, and they had some good football at times, but it's just a shame that we couldn't score maybe the third goal before they scored theirs, because I think we deserve something out of the movement that we had towards the goal. It's just a shame that really we missed an opportunity maybe to get the 3 points really today.
Thanks for your time.
Frustrating afternoon for Gerrard, but they won't be able to afford those sort of defensive frailties against Arsenal next week, will they?
No, they're very much surprised today, Marcus, with their defensive performance. I mean, normally over the last few years, Gerrard's been a bit sensitive with some of the criticism defensively, the way they play. But they have, been solid at the back. So therefore, they're winning a lot of games, say 1-0 by the odd goal. And they're probably not getting the right publicity they would like to get, especially at Anfield. Now, he's got to be careful he doesn't go from one extreme to the other, abandoning the solidity defensively and going forward. He's got to keep that, but maybe add more to the midfield and more to the creativity in the opposition half. And that's what he's got to be careful of. He doesn't just say, let's go forward, and then start conceding a lot of goals behind like they did today.
Well, 5 weeks or so into the season, we've seen the main contenders, the Chelseas, the Manchester Uniteds, the Arsenals and the Liverpools. From what you've seen so far, do you think Liverpool can mix it with the big three?
No, at the beginning of the season I says that Manchester United would win it, and Arsenal would finish second and Chelsea third. And what I've seen up to now, I'm not going to change my mind.
Good. Thank you very much indeed, George.
Okay.
Some latest scores to bring you in the Premiership. Some surprising scores as well. Blackburn 0, Fulham 2 into the second half. At Ewood Park, Lewis Burr-Morty put Fulham in front after 5 minutes, and Lewis Sahar has scored a second. Everton 4, Leeds 0. Steve Watson with the hat-trick, which I just mentioned. Duncan Ferguson also on target, and what an unhappy return to Goodison Park for Peter Reid. And the Super Sunday game, 20 minutes or so gone at the City of Manchester Stadium, and it is still 0-0. That game live right now on Sky Sports 1. And there's more to come tonight. Atletico Madrid against Barcelona from 7:30 on Sky Sports 1. And tomorrow, it's First Division action for you as Walsall take on Gillingham, and that is from 8 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. Well, never mind David Blaine's magic down by the Thames. Kevin Lisbie is the talk of the town tonight. From George and from me, it's goodbye.
You took my hand, you were my friend, and you made it beautiful. You stayed with me, and you made me see that I could make it beautiful too. Yeah, I can't remember that late September, but I remember beautiful. I do recall standing tall, 'cause I remember beautiful.